Boys, I've been having this like strange issue, and I'm curious if you guys can help me with it.
Uh-oh.
So for her, it's not medical. Don't worry about it.
Okay, thank God. Sprite, 7-Up.
That's right. No doubt.
The Baldo.
I've been picking up video games over the last year, 2 years, that I get a good like footing in and started, and then the next game comes out, and I'm like, ooh, sweet, I'm going to try that next game.
Yes.
And then I only get about halfway through that one, maybe even a quarter. And then another game comes out and I do the same damn thing. And then I go back to that first game that I started and I can't fucking remember the controls. And I'm like, I guess I should start it over again. I've got Jedi Fallen Order, I've got God of War Ragnarok, and I've got Elden Ring. 3 games that I'm desperately wanting to go back to revisit. What of those 3 should I go back to? And do you guys have a game in mind that you're like, I need to go back and revisit because I want to get through that game? So what game should I get? And do you have the same?
Fallen Order, probably, because it's the most relevant to get back into Fallen Order 2. I don't know what it's called.
Sure.
Survivor, Fallen Survivor, something like that. I would say that would be my choice. And for the second question, that has happened to me. I never was like a big gamer, and then I got a gaming PC, and a lot like you can get a lot of games for cheap, and there's also a lot of like games that are like in beta testing. So Ready or Not, we used to play. It's constantly getting massive updates, which is a good and a bad thing. Good because the game gets better, but bad because they take things away or add like really weird restrictions. So I haven't revisited that game for a while. Flight Sim is one that I do want to revisit. My favorite plane is a modded plane, and the company that makes the mods basically said, like, we're going on a branch of development that isn't compatible with the way that the game is built. So if you want to fly our plane, you have to actually... There's a website called SimBrief where you can actually file like a... It's like a form that pilots have to file where they're going from like point A to point B. And it's like a pain in the ass. It's like, I just want to hop on and just click 2 points on the map and fly. I don't want to have to like file my passengers and the time I'm taking off and the weather and the plane and my tail number.
It's the most fun part.
It takes
Come on.
so fucking long to get going.
Do you get
And
to
half the
wave to
time it doesn't
everyone on
even
the way
work,
out too?
basically. And
That
it's
was a
like,
wa-
I just wanted to fucking fly the plane. So I haven't played the game in months because my favorite plane doesn't work. And granted, there are fun planes. I've been flying the Tomcat and F-35, but it's just like, I would come home from work, I would turn on Flight Sim, I would do like a 45-minute flight from Florida to the Keys, and then that was like my decompression from work. Like, I would listen to a podcast while I'm flying. It was so nice. It was wonderful, and I can't do that anymore.
So my
now I
takeaways
just
from that,
police officer.
are Jedi Survivor and longest potential answer possible in the
Okay, man.
beginning question.
Yeah, get
We
him
wanted
outta
to
here.
know about which games, not
I
your
was
operating
like,
system.
holy
My God.
Get him out of here.
Sorry, I forgot
dare
the
you.
notes on that
Gotta
plate.
chill.
Fucking dare you.
Ben, you already
Actually,
know my
dare I
answer.
say,
This is my show. I do what the hell I want on my show.
Wait, let me write it down.
I'll dare you, Ben.
Dean, what's your answer, buddy?
I mean, I'm very, biased in saying Elden Ring. Because one, I'll play with you, but two, Jedi Survivor is just like an easy version of Dark Souls. So like, Elden
It did
Ring is
actually
more of a
feel very
challenge.
similar. You are
It's,
not wrong.
I mean, it literally is like a Souls game. But Fallen Order is a very good game, and the sequel is out, and you can very easily, jump into the second one. But I mean, you have a tough time finishing one game. Are you really going to finish 2? Just finish Elden Ring. You already own it.
So that's kind of my process as well. Normally, I will start a game, I'll get a little bit into it, I'll like, oh, okay, I get the idea, I'll put it down, and then normally when the next one comes out, I'm like, oh shit, I should finish that so I can play the next game. And so that's happened with Shadow of Mordor. It happened with, what's the one, Aloy? I can't think of it.
Forbidden West.
Forbidden West, and yeah.
So now I have Forbidden West. So I'm going to say Jedi Fallen Order because that's kind of a continuing story that's tied into other media. So I think, that one's probably the most time sensitive. Initially, I thought, Ragnarok, but I think you've got time on that. The next one's not going to come out for another probably 6 years, if not more. So, I would say go with Jedi Fallen Order, so then you can get prepped to play Survivor.
You just unlocked the fact for me that I loved Horizon Zero Dawn, and that I've also only completed about half of Forbidden West.
There.
That didn't help.
Well, there's your answer right there. You got to go to
That
that
didn't
one
help
now.
Wow.
Longest answer imaginable.
Recap. Zach wants to fly. Dean wants to. I don't know what he's doing. He's playing Elden Ring as per
Sword
usual.
fight.
Sword
we
fight.
speak.
There we go. We should sword fight, Dean. That'd be fun.
Jay,
Whoa,
together.
okay.
With our meat swords.
Of
Oxcon.
course. Touch the tip.
Glad we're
Space
only
dog, if
guests.
you will.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there. We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
This is the true form of lore gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collecting weekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly, the weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank everyone out there in TV land and podcast world, wherever you're at, listening to the show, whether it's live or on the replay. You're sweet.
This is off the rails already.
Marco answered
What?
his name like he was signing up for jury duty. I'm Marco. Like, Jesus, bro.
I almost forgot my name, man. It's been a long day. I was like, oh, don't choke right here. Say it right. Say it right.
There you go. Look at these guys in the chat. We got Toy Mafia, Lane, The Legend, Kramer, King Dingaling, 12-inch Moose Stream, Nick's Collectibles. Check out Nick's channel. He did the 1/6 scale wrestling. I think it was Sunday. Fantastic. And Dean, the Dream Mart, and myself were the first inaugural tag team champions. So go ahead and check that out. It was a fucking awesome stream. Lots of work went into that. I can't even imagine. Abe Dunk TV, let's fucking go. John Ortiz, Yomo, Talkative Mime. If you finish one by the time you're done, the others would be on sale. Pablo Mesa, Rob Barnes, Trooping with Robin, Absolute Irwin, finished the Dinosaur Simulator, Zach. Okay, this is the problem with the beta games. The game has like no development for the past year, so I can't really do anything in that game, and so it's not that exciting, at least as much as you guys think it is.
What's it called?
Saurian.
Okay,
So the founder of Saurian, like stole a bunch of money, and like I'm talking like millions and millions of dollars from the development
pull
team.
the hot shot, huh?
Yeah. Wow, that was pretty good.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And the team fired him, and they're trying to work on rebuilding things that were supposed to have been done. Outside of that, Austin, hello, Vintage Rebellion, Benjamin Bowman, we got the Bowmans in the house. Welcome. Dean, we have a very special segment that we start off all of our best shows with.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? I actually did get some new stuff this week, but I'm waiting for some more to come, so I'll share that a little later. What about you guys?
Yeah, so I got this 89 Batmobile from McFarlane. I was pretty stoked because it was under $50 or like just around $50, which is kind of incredible that he could offer a vehicle of this size. This is 1/12, right? Is that correct?
7-inch scale approximate, yeah.
Okay, there you go. I always get those kind of mixed up. So at that size, I got to say though, it's worth it lives up to that price point though, because it is very much a toy. Like, I don't know what I was expecting, but, the paint's pretty whatever. There's a fair amount of scuffs on it. It's pretty hollow. There's not much to it. It looks fine enough, though. It's a fine enough representation. If you didn't want to go for the Hot Toys or for, a higher end representation for $50, it's pretty decent, but it is very, very much a child's toy. I'm always considering giving it to Gigi's nephew, which would be kind of cool to start him off with a Batmobile, because Zach doesn't want it. So
what the hell?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah, but it's cool, though. So I put it on top of my Modu cases for now. And yeah, just a cool little representation until the Hot Toys comes in maybe a year or so from now.
I'm jealous.
Does this make you want the Hot Toys one more, or
Heck
or
yeah,
less?
heck yeah, it does. And I know the Hot Toys has been described as a big chunk of plastic, and so I think my expectations are leveled there. But yeah, I think like I unboxed it. It wasn't super premium, and I was like, I can't wait to see what the Hot Toys unboxing experience is like. What do you have right there, Ben?
I was going to say, the reason I ask is, so I had considered getting this bike in 6 scale, but I have the McFarlane one, so obviously, and I like the setup at this size. It made me realize that I don't think I'd want a Batman on a Batpod or a motorbike like this in 6 scale. I think it would be too big. I already have a hard time kind of displaying it and knowing where to put it. Now, obviously, it doesn't match my other collection as well, so that's probably part of that OCD-ness. But
you don't know where to put it?
But I would worry that it would have detracted my desire for it. 1/6 Shooter says there are some images of it repainted and it looks pretty good. Zach, you're crazy for saying no to this if that's the case.
So I said that to Zach too. I did. I said, Zach, if you want this, it's yours.
Yeah, if you want it, like if I want to buy it, like no, I don't want to buy it. Like if you're just giving it away, I'm sure we could have
figured something out.
Anyways,
I'm assuming this is probably coming your way eventually. But I saw that someone repainted it in the matte black, like Trevor's saying right there, and it looked way better. So I think this probably deserves someone who can mod it and make it kind of live up to its potential.
So speaking of that, Hot Wheels released a 1/10th scale of the 2022 Batmobile, and I've had it for a long time, and I finally got to repainting it.
Oh wow, that looks amazing!
And I fucking love
so
it
dang
now.
good, man.
Now that it has a little bit of weathering on it, a little bit of paint. So these things, I think if you just have like a little bit of time, you can make them look better. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. And like I said, for almost a year, it just sat in my closet because, like Ben said, I think I would like the 1/6 scale Batmobile from Jazz Inc. But then I'm looking at this one and I'm like, Jesus, I can barely fit this on a shelf. I can't even imagine, the size accurate 2022 version. So
that's very hefty what you've got right there with the details you would not need anymore.
That one would take up almost one of your whole shelves in the back there. Like you'd have to sell some Asmus.
Well, let's not get into that.
Or give it to Ben.
You just go down to like 4 Gandalfs at this point.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Exactly. Thanks, Talkative Mime. And 1/6 Shooter, that looks great. I have to get the painting mod. Yeah, so I used Warm Buff by Apple Barrel for the paint, and then mixed it with a little bit of Earth Brown from Vallejo, and it made the perfect mud color. And then just silver dry brushing. So for me, for new this week, I picked up the Vito Corleone, and I wasn't planning to follow through with this order, and I was like, yeah, I got like 2 days to cancel it, and then I forgot that Sideshow locks the order like 48 hours before the final payment's due to process everything. And so I by the time it shipped, I was like, well, it was only like $80 for the last payment. Like, I'm not gonna lose sleep over $80. And I had already gotten a massive discount because I pre-ordered it, or I guess I ordered it during
$60 though. He'll lose his fucking mind.
Oh, yeah, that's $60 sending the feds, bro. But that's the difference. I actually got what I ordered in the $60. How fucking dare you? How dare you? You fucking guy.
Shit.
Oh, we are going to ruin that guy's life over $50 though.
Allegedly,
of course. So we were planning to film the update video on the Hot Shot Comics thing, but the person I'm working with that is doing a lot of the behind the scenes work, he was under the weather today, so we'll be doing that soon. But anyways, like Dean said, $80, not gonna ruin my life. Fantastic figure. I'm so glad I didn't cancel it. Still need to work on the pose. I'm not 100% happy, and I'm like looking at these Detolfs, and I have a potential room move to the garage planned over the next year, and I'm thinking like I'm just going to keep all my figures. They're going to be cramped for, a few months in the shelves, just cram as many as I can in there. And then once I move into the garage, I'll have a lot more space and I can, I wouldn't say I'm going to go Maji cases, but definitely at least more garage shelves to give everything a little bit of room to breathe. But really nice figure. I do need to email Sideshow about a small little nick on one of my nameplates there on the base, but really not a big deal. And, it was like $90 off, I think, for Black Friday. So really can't beat that.
Looks like he's checking that cat's pulse.
There you go.
Or is a little bit worried about the fact that it has no pulse.
Oh God, that cat is out. And then this was kind of a neat thing. So I know I usually share some 3D printing stuff on here with you guys. So there's a lot of people that make 3D printed figure stands. I've seen circles, I've seen squares, I've seen hexagons, I've seen triangles, I've seen ovals. There was a seller that had some stands, there's a few different sellers that have some of these hex stands, but the prices on them are super expensive. And so Dean had asked me if I could design and or print some. And so I'm not like super well versed in 3D design, but I know enough to do enough. And so I printed some hex stands with different heights there. And, I was kind of thinking like these work pretty good. And then Dean had the great idea to make an insert that you can add foot pegs if you want. So those slide in and you can have foot pegs for your stands. And so I think on Zach's Wonderland, we may be making some of these. I'm still working on the pricing, and these take a while to print, so I'm not sure like how much of these I want to actually sell, as counterintuitive as it sounds. But I have my first order for 4 of them, so very excited to start adding these to the roster. But yeah, it just came from a message from Dean, and a few hours on Tinkercad doing some measurements, and we have a prototype. And my favorite part about them is on the bottom they have the Zach's Wonderland logo.
This is so cool,
classy. I love that so much. So, but I think since Dean actually has a printer, I'll be sending him the STLs so that he can make his own, and that way I don't have to. He needs what do you need, like 10 of them, I think, Dean?
Just for my figure arts, yeah, I think I need like 15, and then my Black Series shelf, another 100.
Yeah.
So I'll actually print those if you're paying that much. Yeah, I'll print them for you, Dean.
Wow, awesome.
Just kidding. No, I'll give you the STL. But yeah, these came out great. Trying to expand the things that I'm making with plastic and resin. So if you need any of these, hit me up on Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, send me a message. And these take about a half day to print for the 3 tier ones, and about 3 hours for the smaller ones. So we can kind of get you sorted there.
Any plans to do this in 1/6, or that would be a little bit too chunky?
So I could probably make the single in 1/6 scale, but the 3 tiered ones, I'd have to make them like as separate units, because this times 2 I don't think would fit on my printer. It may. I can look into it if you're interested. But yeah, that could be a thing. Even if there's 3 of them, you can just glue them together in the orientation that you want.
That'd be cool. Yeah, just touch them together.
Yeah, there you go. Now, the only thing is with these stands, so these take 11.5 hours to print. They are a little bit hollow. But if I make them as solid as I typically would make a part like this, it's almost like a 23-hour print.
Oh my.
And it's too much. Talkative says try a larger nozzle. Yeah, I could, but I kind of like how these came out with the 0.4 nozzle, so I'll probably keep it like this. But as far as these go, like I said, if anyone needs any, let me know and get you sorted out. But yeah, I just have some posed up. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I see a little tease in the background too. Is that a gladiator mask right there?
No, that's MF Doom. One of our. Let's see, are they in the chat right now? I don't see them yet, but one of our listeners wanted one, and getting them taken care of there. But
I might actually take 6 of these from you, by the way.
Of the MF Doom masks?
No, of these figure stands. Sorry.
I was thinking they would work really good for your Batman figures.
Well, the Batman figures and the turtle figures up above me. I just thought of it because there's like a lip on the cabinet, so this would bring it up just enough that it would look like they were standing almost on the lip. That would look cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I got distracted.
Yeah, so If you need any, Ben, I can print you the singles or the tiers. Just let me know. I'll get you a good
Singles.
price for them.
It would have to be the singles.
Hell yeah. 6 of the singles in white, I assume, since
12.
you have white. But in white, though, right?
In white, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, hit me up after the show. We'll talk.
Cool.
But yeah, so there is that. And yeah, let's get into the news. We'll start with Hot Toys today. The Scout Trooper Commander from the Jedi Survivor. Now, to be completely honest, I feel like this is a weird way to lead off the Jedi Survivor line. I get it, Hot Toys does Troopers, but I think not giving us a Cal Kestis from the first game and then not leading off with him to launch this line just seems odd. I think the figure looks okay. Game design aside, I don't think the pauldron necessarily works here, but again, that's not really a Hot Toys problem. But I kind of like the accessories. I like the baton. At least as far as I know, at this point, it hasn't been solicited with the speeder bike. So if you have one from some of the other figures there, you can place them on it. But yeah, lots of things that I don't really understand what they are because I haven't played the game yet. But I mean, it looks okay. It looks okay. I know Danny Lee was thinking to get one of these, and I've seen some of the posing that he does on his Scout Troopers, and very impressed. So if these have even a small amount of the posability that Danny has demonstrated, I think they're going to be a hit figure.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are thinking like, oh, they finally did a Jedi Survivor figure. Cal Kestis has got to be coming down the line. I just have no faith that they're going to do it. They did figures for Battlefront 2, and they never made an Iden Versio. She's the main character of that game. So they already have a history of just doing troopers from games, because why not? They already have the sculpts. That being said, I think this does look cool. I was talking, I believe it was with Ben. I've always wanted a Scout Trooper, but I feel like you can't have a Scout Trooper without the bike. But this kind of eliminates the need for a bike because they're kind of scattered all over the map. You never really see them with the bike. Or I haven't played this game, so I don't know. But, I mean, this guy's in the first game, too. They're, like I said, they're everywhere. They don't have the pauldron in the first game, but I think it's cool. It's tempting. I like all the added gear, but yeah, you're right. Without Cal, it's like, why?
Yep. I've got the same exact response. This is like an incomplete grade until we know whether they're going to go further down this line, if they're going to give us Cal, if they're going to give us BD. I mean, they've already got the mold for, I forget which BD it was from.
Oh, that's
from
true.
Mando. Right. So
I think.
There you go. So we've already got the mold there. They're an eighth of the way there at that point. So yeah. So if this in fact is the only figure, or if they just give us trooper repaints, I will be very upset. We will riot. I probably won't be able to make it out to Hong Kong this year or next year, but 2025 we will be there rioting hard to make sure they give us a Cal Kestis figure, because 2 games and not a release of that, at this point kind of iconic in terms of the video game space character would be extremely disappointing. So yeah, cool concept, but until we see more from the line, I don't really have strong thoughts on this.
For me, before we go on, Baby Boy here says 560. Baby Boy 562. He doesn't say 562. He says joining in late, but excited to be here for the Ben Thomas show featuring the rest of you guys. Love you, sir.
This is bullshit.
Thank you. Just before we get too far into my point, 240 July to December 2024 on this guy. So actually a pretty reasonable price, considering I think for the most part we've been getting used to that 280, 285 range now. So seeing in the 240 range is exciting for the wallet. I haven't finished Jedi Fallen Order, so I probably should either play the game and get a little more connected to this guy before I actually purchase from the line. I think if you're a trooper collector, it's still a win because, let's be honest, it's a really good looking figure. And for the price, I think it's definitely a good consideration. I'm with Dean. I like the look of a Scout Trooper on the bike, but like I was just saying earlier, having vehicles in the collection, I'm going to have to be really selective because they do take up a ton of space. And I know folks who have picked this bike up in the past and have kind of said, wow, I didn't realize like just how much space it may take up. So something to consider for me. I think if I were to get something like a figure of this design, I would want it from the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi line. But even then, that would be after several other figures that would come before it. If they give us a Cal Kestis on the May 4th week that's coming, I think people are going to be obviously pretty happy, because I feel like everybody's been asking for it since Jedi Fallen Order, which I think was a 2017 game release, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a pretty long time to be asking for that character to not get it, especially at this point with a new game that's all hyped up. But Hot Toys has done crazy stuff in the past, so they're hard to predict, honestly.
We don't trust them. We don't trust him. And as long as we're putting our demands out there, I see that you can give him a mullet in this game, so I do need 2 head sculpts, one with a mullet and one without. So,
dude, and a full Fu Manchu.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff in this game.
That makes me want to go buy the game right now, actually.
I know.
Wow.
It's the little things.
Have they ever done a figure with facial hair that could connect like that? Like, is that... I know you're joking, but like, have they ever actually done a figure with detachable beard?
Oh, detachable.
Could be a new thing. Hey, Peacemaker's got a detachable tongue, which is super weird.
Go.
So, like, a beard, maybe not that far stretched.
Beard.
That's innovation right there.
There you go.
The weapon choice seems odd for this photo here. It's like he's gonna hit someone with a stick on a bike. Like, it's not like a lance, right? Like you would think it's like a baton.
Maybe that is Cal Kestis.
Fight with swords on horses.
Oh. Good.
Yeah, but that's when they're fighting against other people with swords and horses. He's fighting against fucking, the rebellion or whatever. Like, it's just an odd. I don't know. I'm sure in the game it makes sense, but here, out of context, it just looks kind of silly.
That's true, especially because the gun is in his boot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right there.
Like, you're going against a dude with a lightsaber with a Baldo-looking object, and
Baldo
just doesn't really do it for me. Hot Toys released 2 figures this cycle. So we have the Venom 2.0, which, I think it's kind of shitty the way that they announced the second one and kind of threw in some cool stuff with it. But besides that, I mean, I think it looks like a good figure. Don't really know that it needed a separate release, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, it was kind of weird because they were like, hey, you get the Venom head sculpt with the Carnage for those people that bought the Venom. And it's like, oh, cool. That's, an incentive to buy the new Carnage if you have Venom already. And then they just announced this Venom with the head sculpt anyways. It's like, what are you guys doing over there? Yeah, it's a cool looking figure, but kind of just really shitty for the people who bought the first one.
That seems like a bit of a no-win scenario, though, Dean, with that head sculpt thing, because, I mean, if it had just come with the Carnage, we would have said that it's paywalled behind Carnage, and that's a piss-off. I don't want to have to buy a figure to get a sculpt. On the other hand, being the person who bought the 1.0 version and only had it in hand for about 2.5 weeks before they announced this one with the Eddie Brock head sculpt, also really, really stung. So, like, it's
because you gotta buy a figure to get the head sculpt.
Yeah, there's a no-win, and I've already bought it, so, like, there's a no-win scenario there, because now I'm going to not make the same money on that 1.0 if I try and move them as I would. So I might as well keep this guy and try and find it on, Toy Anxiety, maybe, if it ever comes on there, or like a secondary seller.
Third party,
maybe there's somebody out there who just doesn't want it and likes the Ben Thomas show and wants to donate it. Like, I'm good with, and I'm done.
Okay, trying to use his.
Here's the Hot Toy solution: do it right the first time, and you have to rely on.
Guy hits 1,000
You're not
subscribers. And... Holy cow.
He tells me Central Standard Time isn't the time zone anymore. How dare
I will
Ben?
see this on secondary market somewhere. I will find
it. There's a simple solution. You just pay $500 plus shipping, tax, import charges for the Carnage figure, and then you can get this as well. I'm not too bothered by it. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm excited for that Carnage figure, honestly. I'm not that bothered because I like the Carnage, because I already planned on getting that. And I have the 1.0, so I was like, okay, it's like kind of a plus for the figure I already have. I think it is kind of cool that more people have the opportunity to get this Venom, because it is a really cool figure that I roasted initially when it was teased. I was like, this looks terrible. What did they do with this? But it's actually like one of my favorite figures at the end of the day. So we have the right to change our mind when we're presented new data. So yeah, I think this head sculpt is really cool. Can't wait to get it with the Carnage figure.
If you want to sell me yours, I'll take it. I'm just saying, or give it.
Oh, wow. Or give it to you. Okay.
Because we're friends.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, Ben, if you decide to
get
get the new Venom, you can give me your old one. That would be great.
There you go. Great friends.
Boy, this is tough. The Yelena from Black Widow 2, 1, I don't know. It was released, and I'll be honest, they did Florence Pugh real dirty here. I don't think this portrait looks particularly good. I don't know. This seems like a miss to me. I think it looks a little too big in a lot of the photos, and the likeness is off to me.
See, I'm going the exact opposite way. I think that this, in a few shots, it actually looks a lot like Florence Pugh. She has a really bulbous, odd-shaped head as it is.
She does. Yeah.
Like she's beautiful. Like I love Florence Pugh. I think she's gorgeous, but she's got a really odd-shaped head. Just watch Midsommar, by the way. Incredibly fucked up movie. Don't watch it if you haven't yet. Just don't watch it. But yeah, I think that it looks really nice. Like honestly, the sculpts in the blogger photos made me kind of want to go get this eventually when it hits deep bargain bin discount. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, this is 100% bargain bin figure. You're gonna see this character again. She was already in the Hawkeye show. She's moving forward as the new Black Widow. So this isn't even like the definitive look for this character as of right now. So yeah, it's kind of like, in the next, 5 to 6 years, there's going to be 3 or 4 versions of this character. So yeah, if you're going to get it, I say wait until you could get it real cheap. It's not a bad looking figure. I mean, objectively, it looks fine. It's just, is it worth retail? Probably not.
And this vest is so iconic, just a real natural tie-in to Civil
This
War.
movie was so bad, but the vest
War,
thing,
yeah.
the vest and the superhero landing parts were fucking hilarious. CGI is terrible in this movie. My goodness.
I still like this movie. I thought it was okay. You guys,
it's fun.
Crazy.
It's fun.
It was fun. It was fun.
Sweet guy, Ben.
Right. I think Dean made a really good point. The definitiveness of this figure. I think when we see her again, they're just going to be able to kind of continue to improve all of it, right? The sculpt and everything. How many Scarlett Johanssons did we get before we've even got to the current version? And even people say that that's not 100% quite yet. So, I think that, when you have really smooth skin and for whatever reason you're a female character, they have a harder time getting the likeness right off the bat. For whatever reason, there's been some strong ones. Pete made the point the other day of Leia being really strong and being young, but still, I feel like they nail some of these sculpts. And I know Gare Bear, $25.
Look at that! What a fucking guy, Gare Bear.
What
Love
a
you too, buddy.
Thank
what
you
a
so
legend.
much. Obviously, I know that there are characters out there, even like Wanda, that we're still waiting for. Like Wanda's been a long time coming, and what is she going to necessarily look like when we get the final production in hand? Like,
don't put that evil out there, Ben. She's gonna be perfect.
But it makes me nervous because I've got Wanda on order. So I'm like, that's one I really want. This was one I was willing to pass on. If they'd solicited Red Guardian maybe with this though, so you could have like the trifecta from the film, it might have got me to push over the edge a little bit because I thought he was a cool character and I like the actor. So, but I think I'll pass on this at this point.
There you go. Let's stay with Marvel here. This is the Gentle Moon figure, Mr. Moon Knight from So Toys, 135 on KG Hobby. This one comes out Q4 2023. I think that the sculpt looks pretty good. I've seen some people say they don't like it, but I don't quite get that. He does come with that extra shirt with rolled up sleeves, the scarab, the Moon Knight boomerangs, several hands, and the generic kind of So Toys metal base. I think I like this. I never really got that into Moon Knight. I think I only got to like the 3rd episode. So it was like right when this look was introduced. I do need to revisit it, but at 135 the price isn't too bad, and honestly, this might be a pickup at some point, especially since it's hard to find Oscar Isaac portraits. A lot of people were saying you could take this and put it on a Luke figure to make like a Poe Dameron, and that's not really how that outfit works at all. But wishful thinking. I'll give it to you, wishful thinking.
I thought it was a very creative idea. I was like that. I like
like,
that. I could make my that's that eye thing that you were talking about a few weeks back. That eye trick where if you look at it, you're like, yeah, that's Poe Dameron. You could see it.
There you go.
100%.
I do like that it comes with that second shirt, so you don't have to worry about folding up the sleeves. And I think that the textile work on the suit and the vest here, I think they all look really good. So for $135, I think the textures, and just knowing So Toys in general, I think this is a fine release. To be honest, I don't have a lot of complaints about it.
Yeah, this is also another figure that you kind of have your pick of the litter at this point. There's a bunch of these guys out there. I think 3 or 4.
3, I think.
With the Gentleman Moon Knight. So, yeah, I think the Poe Dameron head sculpt or Oscar Isaac head sculpt is
there. You see,
it's pretty good. I know exactly who that's supposed to be. Now this is a prototype, so who knows what it's actually going to look like. But yeah, if you're desperate to have this guy on the shelf, I think this is a pretty solid version. Comes with about everything you kind of expect. So yeah, I think it's fine. It's non-offensive to me.
Yeah, I didn't love this show, honestly. Like, it started so strong. The first episode was so good. It really faded. It kind of, got good again in the middle, and then just petered out. So didn't love the property. Love Oscar Isaac, though. I think this head sculpt is pretty strong. Like, I see the likeness there a lot. And I like this suit design as well. So I am tempted. I think the only thing that's giving me, a lot of second thoughts here is not knowing where to buy So Toys for the United States, since Kit doesn't sell them there. I know there's a few other options, but I know I've got a pre-order with another seller and a So figure, and haven't really heard from them, so I'm a bit nervous there. So it's like I'm kind of in a weird position. Obviously, there are veterans in the community I can consult with if I really need to pull the trigger. So I'm on the fence. If it was a certainty, if it was on 1/6 Kit, I probably would pull the trigger today, but because I have to shop around a little bit, it's making me a bit anxious. And then it's like, do I really need it? Is it really worth that hassle? Because there's so much heat coming out. But what do you think, Ben?
Absolute Irwin here says, put the portrait on the Finn TFA, the Force Awakens brown jacket version for your Resistance Poe. Yeah, I could see it. So I actually normally like to display my figures as best I can, like one per case. But I really enjoyed the Moon Knight show. I'm clearly a part of the minority there. I had never read the comics. I didn't know much about the character. I really like Oscar Isaac as an actor, so I was like, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I went in, I'd not seen any trailers, I didn't really look at anybody's opinions, and I just kind of just watched it week over week, but just by myself, having a good time, and I loved the heck out of the show, and so I immediately had pre-ordered the Moon Knight Hot Toys version, and one of the things that really connected with me was I'd studied psychology in university, and dissociative identity disorder, or like multiple personality disorder, is something that I had written some thesis on, and so like that connected with me. I thought they did a really good job. I thought he did an amazing job being both characters kind of all at the same time, and if I was going to display Moon Knight, I'd thought about getting this white suit version as a back-to-back pairing in one square, just kind of showing that division of personality while also having the display of both Moon Knight and everybody. So I don't know. I think it's, for the price at $135, it makes me really excited that they've done it first, so that I can have 2 figures for a significantly lower cost and still be thrilled about the setup. But Dante's Bonnier said, I'll have to finish watching on replay. Damn working shift. Take it easy, gentlemen. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Definitely appreciate it.
Love to see it. So Bob Dylan sent me this comparison photo. We have Stephen Grant on the left and Mark Spector on the right. So it looks like S-Hero may have the better portrait for the Mark Spector look, and so for the Stephen Grant look. Thank you for that. Appreciate the reference there. Yeah, so let's talk about this. Marco, what do you think? The Star Ace Rocky. How do you think this has come out?
Absolutely horrendous. This is actually my first time seeing this. I've been kind of out of the loop. Did it melt? Was there a temperature issue? Does he have? Yeah. What's going on here? This is awful.
That's the quality there, my friend. From
our
friends over at Star Ace.
I think they need to Yeah, never mind. That's going to be a little too harsh. I think that we need to reconsider some of the licenses that these folks are getting because the quality is not living up to the licenses they have, unfortunately. So hopefully they find their stride, but this ain't it. This is not cutting it. What do you guys think?
This is... I haven't seen this either.
Did any of y'all look at the show sheet or do your homework before the show? Jesus.
No.
The show's
I
called
saw
Do Your
you post
Homework.
it. I saw you
Do your
post.
homework.
I didn't click on
Do Your
it
Homework show, no less.
because, like, you know, when you're just scrolling on your phone, it's like, okay, there's the photo. I didn't really like take the time to click on and zoom in.
Yeah, I didn't zoom in. I just saw like, oh, we'll talk about it on the show.
Okay,
But
you fucking
this
guys.
is fucking horrendous. This is. If I was Sylvester Stallone, I'd be calling my lawyers. This is.
Well, we'll get to it in 2 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I think there may have been some movement already. Ben, what do you think about this?
I also didn't look at it that closely. I saw that it was on the show sheet and
All
was pretty
right, I'm
stoked
outta
about it. So.
Thank goodness.
Honestly, I prefer
Hey, you
it that
guys
way
get
because
our-
you're giving your
yeah.
genuine reaction.
This is the first time I've
That's what
really
people
seen
say who
it.
don't want to do the work beforehand. Say.
That's not what they say. That is not what they say. But anyways, I don't know. He looks a little bit like Jackie Chan, in my opinion. I see like more of an Asian young gentleman there than Rocky Balboa. So
Why do you always toe the
get
line?
to race,
that's not racist. I just see him as an Asian sculpt.
bro.
That's all I see.
Okay, don't ever talk about Jackie Chan like that. How dare you?
My
How dare you? Okay, so you know it's gonna be bad when the company that released it turns off the comments on the post, and they basically do that for all their 6-scale stuff. It's bad. Erwin says, "Forget the show sheet. We'll do it live."
That's right.
So Bob Dylan says, "Poor Isaac, man can play 3 personalities in one MCU show and still not get a single Hot Toy sculpt. He can play 3 personalities in one show, and we'll still call him Poe Dameron." So that should tell you something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Talkative Mime says he likes unrehearsed reactions. That's fine about unrehearsed, but you got to do some of the work beforehand. Now, Stallone Shop, I mentioned that maybe they're taking their own hands because they saw how shitty this was. They're releasing the Lone Shark Collector from the Rocky Legacy Collection now. Stallone Shop has been putting out their own figures for a while. We've said that at some point it's got to probably start to trend towards this very, very, very popular roles like Rocky, and it seems like it is beginning to do that quickly. Bob Dylan with a super chat, Ben's childhood phobia, I see minorities everywhere.
On CW or what?
Now this one, there's 2 versions, so it's $280 for the regular, which is this version here, in line with Hot Toys pricing, and then $380 for the deluxe version. That's Q1 2024. The regular version comes with the ball, the notebook, the pencil, and the dog there, and so that looks pretty good there. I think the paint work on the sculpt probably needs a little bit of work, but overall it's not too bad. Now this is the Ultimate Edition, so you get a second portrait which does not have the hat. You also get the turtle container, which I think is a nice little touch, and you also get a sort of like a street corner diorama base, and then you also get a hat that he can hold. For an extra $100, you get a sculpt, a diorama base, and some turtles. Kind of iffy on whether that's worth it or not. You know,
Well,
maybe
people are losing their
$350.
mind over a churro. Okay, I think the
Oh,
turtles
well, you're
can
not-
get a pass.
You're not
The
wrong.
base is kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie.
So the cool thing about this base though is I think you can use it for a lot of different things. So
Yeah.
you know, you're not shoehorned into just Rocky. And I think the quality on these portraits is such that you know, I think they need more paint work. Like Hot Toys does the freckling. I think that makes them look really realistic. But honestly, this compared to this, which is probably the same price, like it's a no-brainer to me. I think D Knight did some reviews on some of the recent Stallone Shop figures, and I mean I think they came out pretty good compared to the prototypes. So
Yeah.
I have no doubt that these will.
Especially because Stallone almost seems to be involved in, like, not every single step of the making of the figure, but I mean he'll post updates where he's got like prototypes. He's like, "Yo, check this out." That Star Ace one is egregious. That is, I'm almost at a loss for words of how awful this is. Like, I don't.
The more
I
you
mean,
keep it
even
on there,
just-
the more I see Jackie Chan. Thanks, man.
Even the like with the box behind the figure, it's like I would almost settle for just the box. Like, Why are you showing it compared to something that blows it out of the water?
I feel so bad for what they're about to do to Carl Weathers.
Oh my god.
Bro,
Apollo Creed, bro.
Stars needs to fucking hang it up, bro. Just stop making figures.
Big Red says, "Yo,
100%. Like,
Adrian."
they haven't made anything worth buying. I can't think of the last. Maybe the Leonidas.
That figure is actually pretty fucking fire.
It's pretty good. I have it. I changed out the body, but dear God, like I didn't even pay retail for that. So,
bro, I can't get over the goofy hat too. Like
so bad.
It's just,
oh man,
it's bad. For those of you watching or listening, look it up because it's horrific. It's horrific looking. This Stallone Shop one is so much more impressive.
Yeah, I was sold on it more with the hat version. As soon as you scroll to the deluxe version, I think that one looks a little weird, a little silly. Like it's something in the forehead and the hair sculpt. I think the one with the hat is honestly the one to have out of these. This looks a lot more like Stallone for sure. I showed Shauna, and she says it doesn't look anything like Jackie Chan. So we are good there.
Wow.
Or a little Michael Jackson-y actually with the jacket and the way his like feet are posed, but that's a reach. So I like this one way more though. I think it is the best of all the Rocky versions. To be serious,
they should do a twins movie, but instead of Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, it's Stallone and Jackie Chan.
Yes.
Someone edit that and post it.
We need that. I will say though, these look a little stylized almost, right? Like they look cartoony, which I think is fine. It's like, it's just falling a bit short of that realism, but at least they're hitting what they maybe were going for. They're like, instead of us trying to go full on realistic, we'll go slightly stylized. It almost looks like a poster in a way. And that's way better than what Star
Stallone
is.
just has a very stylized face.
He does.
There's no one that looks like Sylvester Stallone.
It might almost be the paint applications though, because it just looks maybe like Zach was saying, it just doesn't have that fine detail, so it makes it look more cartoony.
Yeah,
and
it's also very matte. It's very matte.
It's matte. It's matte. So maybe that's what I'm reacting to. Like this one right here, you see it a lot where it just looks like a cartoon. Yeah, it's flat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I see what you're saying now.
I will say though, of all the 1/6 scale dogs I've seen released by licensed companies, this is the best dog.
Good dog.
Dude, for real.
Compared
the
to
one
Einstein,
that came with Marty is fucking almost as bad as that Star
Don't you
Ace
dare
Rocky.
talk about
put that Marty
like
with Star Ace Rocky, and you got the Star Ace set.
Einstein with the stopwatch around him, I warmed up to it. I'd kept him in storage until I got the stopwatch.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Dean, tell us about these teases here by 3-0.
Okay, well, this figure's out. It's on my shelf.
Okay, fucking just talk through them, please.
This figure is also out. These are Berserk figures.
They released the standard guts?
Yeah, years ago.
I thought it was just this one.
Also,
here,
the skull,
with the bloody one.
And he ragged on us for not doing the home.
No, the bloody one comes with the
I
head
leave this to
sculpt, which is the deluxe. The regular one just comes with the wolf armor. This one came out like in. It's old. Greg had this one. Lord Greg. Shout out Lord Greg.
So then the only one new is the
Griffith.
The Griffith.
Yeah. Skull Knight also came out. They're also.
Some people were saying they were going to remake these.
No, they just had all their figures on display.
I see.
Yeah. Only the Griffith. That's why I only put Griffith up there.
Are you going to get Griffith?
I'll probably get Griffith, but yeah, I'll probably get Griffith. He's such a piece of shit. I fucking hate Griffith, but it's a good bad guy. If you hate the villain, like they're writing it well. So yeah, I will probably get this. It looks fantastic. It's funny because like the cape is like fully rendered, like.
And then the figures in like
but the
gray.
figure's just like all flat gray and black undersuit. But it looks really good. Like the sculpt, from what I can tell, looks fantastic. It looks like it's gonna make a good figure.
This is the Femto armor, I guess, right?
No,
for
that's
Griffith.
No, that's just Griffith.
I thought this is, but isn't this when he transforms, right?
No,
this isn't his normal Hawk armor, is it?
Yeah,
really.
But he gets it again when he's resurrected. But Femto is in like a black purple like.
Oh, you are correct.
Suit.
Yeah, you are correct.
Anyway.
Damn, it's been a while since I've seen Berserk. I just watch it.
Berserk.
I don't read it. I'm a nerd. I'm a silly boy. Dean, what is the tell us about this too. This is something
Yeah,
I'm
so
really
they
excited for.
Yeah, 3-0 finally showed off their VF1 from Macross/Robotech. Fully transformable. So you got all three modes: Batroid, Gearwalk, and Fighter mode. I'm not sure the scale. I'm thinking it's like 1/72nd scale, so probably about like 8 or 9 inches tall when it's in Batroid mode. So, yeah, it looks fantastic. It's got all the decals on it already. Lots of little subtle details. Compared to the line art of the show, pretty spot on. That's pretty good. I don't know if it's better than the DX Chogokin by Bandai, but this is pretty close. But again, huge difference in scale. So this will probably be more budget friendly, probably around like $100-$150 maybe, hopefully. But yeah, it's our first time seeing it. It was at New York, 3-0 New York show. They just like put a bunch of figures on display. So very
this
cool.
was supposed to be shown like last fall, right?
Yeah, they announced it last year, some like middle of the year, and then they were like, "Oh, like huge announcement coming up for Robotech like in the fall." It was like November or something. I have all the screenshots still on my phone because I was like, "I'm gonna wait for it." Like the following week, I kept going back to check, like, did they post something? Like, what did I miss? Never showed it off, so this is our first time seeing it, and it looks fantastic. This is the VF1J, Rick Hunter, Hikaru, so.
This may be my first Robotech item.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, 3-0 doesn't make shitty stuff. I mean, they really fucking knock everything out of the park, so.
They do.
I'm excited.
So you mentioned the scale. So 1/72nd, if that's the estimate, what is that? What is it, like a 9-inch figure you said?
Yeah, like, yeah, 7 or 8, yeah.
Because that's about what the, well, it depends. Like the Optimus is pretty tall. I think it's like 15 inches. You don't think it would be that tall, right?
No. I wish it would be that
Probably
tall.
closer to like the Bumblebee, like the 6'7" mark.
Yeah, even the Chigokins are only like 11, 12 maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, so this would be much smaller.
I'm excited. I don't have Chigokin money, but I might have the $100 3-0 DLX price money. So,
are you collecting stuff like this, Dean? Then, like, is this something that you're actively?
Oh yeah,
for?
this whole thing right next to me is all Robotech.
There's a store near me actually that I haven't gone through because it has like all of this kind of stuff in. I might take you for a video tour at some point and see if there's anything you're looking for. That's cool.
Wow,
that looks good, buddy.
What a guy! What a guy!
Take you for a walk with me.
There you go. Now, Ben, this was something that you added to the show sheet. Exo-6 teasing a Voyager backdrop. So what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so I mean, if you see the picture here, basically Exo-6 has teased this background, so the bridge of the Star Trek Voyager starship. And it's pretty cool because, I mean, tons of the episodes are centered around the bridge, obviously, right? And I think for the most part, the Exo-6 line, this is now the most complete of all of the lines, Star Trek-wise so far. They're still missing the B'Elanna Torres and the Tom Paris, so the two people up near the front there, but everybody else has been so far either solicited, released, or out and sold out already. So it's going to be a pretty complete bridge crew, and it's cool that we may get a Star Trek background like this, because I don't think I would buy the Voyager set, but if they did a Star Trek The Next Generation background bridge, I would 100% buy that with some figures.
Bob Dylan, if you mention Ben at your LCS and tell an off-color joke, you get 10% off any Asian figure.
Wow.
Jesus. So, Ben, what exactly are they soliciting here? A printout or like an actual 3D item that like would be this whole back wall?
To be honest, it's so impossible to say at this point. It's coming from Nanjin, the developer there, who's like notoriously a little interesting, quirky for sure, and doesn't give a lot of information. He just kind of tends to Hail Mary things out there and say, you know, like this may come, or this is something that we're looking at, or this is an envisioning that's coming true, and something along those lines. So as more information comes up, I'll bring it up again. But again, if it's cool, if it looks like this, I think that's pretty cool, especially for a next generation bridge. Totally.
Yeah, if it's just a printout, just go to Walgreens and print one out yourself. Don't get bamboozled.
I don't think it's a printout, but it could.
Have they made the chairs or any consoles or anything like that, or just figures?
They have done the chair from the first Contact Bridge of Star Trek, but not of the ship yet.
Ben, you just said you don't think this is a printout. What do you think it is?
I think it's a little cardboard backdrop.
That's a printout.
Printed on cardboard, but yeah, you could easily just
like
make
3D.
This
I think you could. No, I don't want to make it myself. I'm not that creative.
Like a little pancake in the background. You'd love to see.
I know. She's
I think there would have some raised texturing. I think it would look more than just like a flat printout. Like
I think you're going to be shocked when you see it. Though.
I hope I'm not wrong.
Does it survive the pocket test though? Marco, tell me about this. So Mars Toys releasing a Wonka and Oompa Loompa. So you can get this two different ways: Wonka with the Oompa Loompa, or just the Oompa Loompa by itself. 268 releasing Q1 2024 for the 2-pack, and then the single Oompa Loompa is 104. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so a bit of positive, a bit of negative. I love that Mars Toys is doing these really offbeat figures or properties that we probably wouldn't get from other companies. You know, when Inart puts up their posts, like, what would you like to see? Really random stuff comes up and you're like, there's no way anyone will ever do that. But the fact that they're doing seemingly really high quality figures from, again, a property that Hot Toys would never touch, very likely would not be done by a licensed company, I love it. Like, I think that these look really nice. Now, is the likeness 100% there? Maybe not, but they're going to come in at a competitive price. You're going to be able to put together a Willy Wonka display with the golden ticket, which is an awesome touch. And it looks like they're teasing the Johnny Depp version as well, which is whatever.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I think we don't need that. But yeah, so obviously an absolute classic film. I've seen this a billion times. I don't know that it's for me. I don't know that I'd need a Willy Wonka. But awesome. So really happy that they're doing it. I'm a bit scared that Mars Toys is getting a bit over their skis at this point, because they are announcing and teasing so much stuff. Are they really going to be able to release all of this in a timely manner? I guess time will tell. I don't have enough familiarity with them. Obviously, they knocked it out of the park with the Joker, but yeah, so they're tackling properties that we really like to see at a seemingly high quality, but can they release them in a timely manner? Only time will tell. So that's a bit scary. But Ben, what do you think about this?
I wonder if they're closer to having the production final than we expect. Maybe they're waiting longer to cook it in the oven before they actually solicit it. Unlike Hot Toys that solicits way further out in advance. I guess the only downfall there is it would be hard to know what kind of pre-order amount you would get. So you wouldn't want to start producing figures and then be unaware of the final result. But I thought it was interesting because Mars Toys for me lately has been kind of one of those posts on Facebook that I look for kind of every day or every other day to see what next unique figure might be a possibility in the collection. I think it's kind of exciting. I like it that it's not predictable. And when they posted the other day a tease post that said something along the lines of a dream figure is coming to people's collections or something along that line, and then they put this out the next day, it made me actually laugh out loud when I saw it, because it's not something that I think I would bring to my collection, even though this was the Willy Wonka movie that I grew up with. I wouldn't collect it, but I think it's awesome that they gave it to us. I'm very excited about it. And Art Captain Frodo 77 with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, good sir. He says, yo, shout out to Zach's Wonderland. I can't receive my pile of loot. I can't wait to receive my pile of loot. As always, I look forward to listening on replay. Thanks for the super chat, good sir. That's really generous. But yeah, I think this is cool. Now, I like you said, they solicited the other Willy Wonka version, the Johnny Depp one. Pete strategically pointed out to me the other day from OFAC that that particular Oompa Loompa in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film is actually all of the same actor, whereas in this film it wasn't. So you wouldn't necessarily want to try and army build these Oompa Loompas, even though you can buy them separately for $100. You may want to wait till the next iteration if you wanted to be as accurate as possible in your collection. So shout out for Pete for that raspberry of knowledge, because I thought it was interesting. But otherwise, I think it's cool. I think they're banging these out. So good on them. It makes me more excited about my Riddler that's coming.
Now, Zach, I have a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
Because this is a point
What do you get when you guzzle down sweets? Oh, sorry, Dean. Go for it.
Wow.
That
was a good, smart joke.
Thought that's where you were going.
You cannot get enough praise for that.
I'm giving Marco a hot seat point for that because that was a fucking fire. That was fucking fire.
Oh
bro.
my god, that was good. That's not where I was going with this. I was gonna ask on Ben's show. I made it a point to talk about the whole Molecule 8 thing.
I'm going to talk about it. Yeah.
This was going to be their next figure. And I know you were really excited about the Willy Wonka.
Yes. Willis Wonka. Yes, of course.
So I want to know your actual thoughts on this figure. Like, is this like, are you happy you're getting it? Are you going to get it? Are you disappointed? Like, what's the deal?
Okay, so when Willy Wonka was solicited by Molecule 8, this was the image that they showed a lot. And I always felt like this was a Photoshop. And by this point in Molecule 8's tenure, they had already done like a lot of sketchy shit. And on one of the posts that CT603 posted, Jordan Oilers Workshop said, yeah, that's a Photoshop. You could easily make this. The only photo that I remember seeing of the actual portrait in hand was this photo here. And to be honest, like, these are much different sculpts. Like the one that's in the wide shot and then the one that's here. I never felt like this was a good portrait. And by this point in Molecule 8's history, like, we had already seen how bad the John Lennon was when it was released from what it was solicited. They did K.A. Kim's sculpt dirty. And I want to say this was Mike Hill that sculpted this one. And this was a good portrait, but again, it wasn't the John Lennon prototype. And what we saw on the release for Molecule 8 was far off of that. Now, obviously, the Wonka never really got off the ground. It was canceled. The company was kind of ghosted everyone. And then like 2 years later, they went out of business. So I never really felt that what Molecule 8 had showed us was that good. Now, I will say this sculpt is not perfect. And I know Michael showed us in the private chats, 12-inch Moose Stream, that it kind of looks like Michael Cera. And now that I'm seeing that, it's difficult to unsee. But I do think that this portrait is pretty good. I don't think it's perfect. I think, you know, it's certainly not the Mars Toys Cesar Romero quality. I will say, though, from what we have seen objectively, the quality that Mars Toys has solicited versus what they released is pretty close. Talking about probably 90%. And so I'm happy with this 90%. I'm happy with 100% versus 90% of this. I do think it could be better. I think most 1/6 scale portraits from any company could be better. I think there's very few that I'm like, that is a perfect, you know, shrink ray portrait. But I think this could certainly use work. I think where this figure really shines is the accessories. You get probably just about everything you could think of from the film. You get that life-size golden ticket. You get a few of the smaller ones, the chocolate bars, the everlasting gobstoppers, the cane. Like, I mean, literally just all these things. The wax teacup, the half bust there. Literally in my head, I haven't seen this movie in a while, but I was thinking like, oh, does it have this? Checked it, boom, it had it. And so I think this is a neat release. Now, the one thing that I do not like about this release is I don't like when companies try to dictate how we order their items. So you can get it with an Oompa Loompa or just the Oompa Loompa by itself. Now, obviously, most people will order, you know, one of these and let's say like 2 to 3 Oompa Loompas, whatever. I personally, Oompa Loompa is not my favorite part of the movie, and I'm probably in a very small minority, but I would have liked it if they gave us an option, and that's why I haven't ordered yet, if it was just Willy Wonka. Because if Wonka's $268 and the Oompa Loompa's $104, I'd rather just take like $90 off the price and get a Willy Wonka for $180. That's how I personally feel. Again, not a huge fan of the Oompa Loompas. They were the worst part of the movie for me as a kid. I think they're much better in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Deep Roy. But yeah, all things considered, I think this is a good figure. I think the tailoring is a bit off, especially after we've seen how good their prank villain was. But I think this is good. This is one of these movies that I watched a lot growing up. We went to this like child care facility during the summers when my mom was at work, and they play this movie a lot, and I used to hate it as a kid, but growing up I've grown to appreciate it. And yeah, there's a lot to like about this. And if I keep going back to it, but if this is as good a release as some of the other things that they've done, like Prank Villain, this is going to be like a banger figure. And I think Mars Toys is lining themselves up to be up there in that discussion for Company of the Year, or at least one of their releases for Figure of the Year. I think they've been doing some great stuff. And, you know, even at $268, compared to Hot Toys, it's not bad. You're getting 2 full figures. You know, I think this is 3 portraits or maybe 2, and a shitload of accessories. Like this to me is a quality release. And my only real complaint is that I wish I could just buy the Wonka by itself.
Yeah. I mean, you got people like 12-inch Moonstream down here. 1 set and 2 Oompa Loompas. There's people going to be looking for Oompa Loompas, man. You can make your money back.
That's true.
Smart man.
You
Smart
can make
man.
that, yeah.
That's not a bad idea, Dean. And who knows? Maybe I get it in hand and I love the Oompa Loompa, but
yeah,
I don't know. They're always kind of creepy to me.
They're very upsetting, for sure.
In either iteration of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka, the Oompa Loompas are my least favorite part of those movies. It creeped me out. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I know you were really excited about the Molecule 8 one, so
yeah,
it's nice to see that this is finally coming to fruition. So,
and I will say, like, those comparisons are not terrible when people are saying, like, well, the Molecule 8 is better, but you also have to remember this will actually likely come out, unlike the Molecule 8 one, and this company has proven to release quality figures, unlike Molecule 8 with the Lennon. So,
yeah,
and also, I'm almost certain that Mars Toys is actually paying the people that are making these figures, unlike also Molecule 8. So
yeah, and Molecule 8 also doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Molecule. I remember when I first started the show, like the first 3 or 4 episodes are talking about Molecule 8, and then they went radio silent. And I remember later on in the run, I think probably before episode 40, they had officially filed with the British government to like dissolve as a company. And it was like, oh, they're gone. Like that, everyone that was owed money, like they're shit out of luck now. So yeah, I wouldn't hang my hat on anything that Molecule 8 had done or had advertised. Yeah, I would respectfully disagree there, buddy. So Mars Toys is doing a neat thing, and so Kit has done something like this in the past. I would say it had dubious results for the grand prize. He had put like scratch off tickets in a bunch of different packages. Allegedly someone there were 2 winners, right? There was only supposed to be 1. And the guy that had the second card, he was real sketchy. He wouldn't photograph it like straight up, and he didn't want to send it back in. So I don't know what that is, but Mars Toys is doing a little fancy golden ticket opportunity. So if you pre-order with 1/6 kit, you will have a chance to get an extra golden ticket. They'll send 5 golden tickets with $100 worth of reward points on 1/6 kit for the early bird pre-orders from the 1st of May to the 3rd of May.
They're sending out. I want my boy.
5 golden tickets with $50 worth of reward points on OSK before the actual pre-order cutoff date. So there'll be a total of 10 extra golden tickets to be included randomly with the pre-orders. And I do hope that they actually like clarify what these are supposed to look like, because someone's going to get this big golden ticket in their order and think they won and probably be upset. So hopefully they're actually different than what they're sending to as part of the actual package itself. So that's pretty neat. Oh, here it is. Actually, just kidding. It's right here. So you get, well, this is the graphic. So this might not actually be the golden ticket. But that is exciting. I think it's fun when companies do like things like this. It just adds a little extra excitement. And especially for this figure, like the whole beginning of the movie, it's like that excitement of opening your candy bar and do you have that golden ticket? And it's like you're opening your 1/6 kit order, and is there a golden ticket in your Wonka? Like, it's pretty good marketing. Like I've continually been impressed with a lot of things that Mars Toys is doing, and this continues that that whole thing. When I used to work with this nonprofit, we would do these like choral selling events, and we would give out coolers to the members that paid. And they were like, kind of like shitty lunchbox coolers, but there's just like a nice little trinket item. And we did a golden ticket type thing, and it was like a huge success. I'm very, very keen on like the Wonka golden ticket idea. So maybe we'll have to do that for Patreon one day. But yeah, Marco, there's an update for the Joker. Do you want to go ahead and read that one off?
Yeah, so Kit put out another update. So they just had a batch of, I forget the numbers, but basically up until 77,810, my order was included in that. Ben, have you received your invoice yet?
I have not got the invoice yet. I just saw this.
Okay.
I was like, oh, again, just seeing this for the first time. You're getting my on-screen reaction. Holy
There
shit.
you go.
Boy, all
Is
right.
the email here? It's not.
Wow,
It's
okay,
not.
because when you and I were chatting about this a few days ago, this is what I was referring to, Ben. So
I know,
it looks like
okay.
these are on the way. So exciting that it seems like production is really ramped up. Now we'll see if there's any dip in quality. I haven't heard any horror stories from the last batch, but yeah, it seems like.
And you said I put bad juju out there.
I'm just saying, you never know. Things have ramped
What
up
a
pretty
guy.
significantly, so it seems like they're getting through their batches pretty quickly, and we'll see if they get another figure out this year. That would be really exciting if they do. I know Zach cannot wait for his 10th Gandalf. So
Yeah, it looks like I'm in this numbered batch. So cross fingers.
All right, so it should
Imperfect
be coming
Collection
here soon.
says, "Be better if you find a golden ticket, you get a free figure." That's wishful thinking, but you also have to realize Kit is probably not like this massive, super wealthy company. So for them to give out $500 in the first batch and $250 on the second, like, the margins are probably pretty slim for what he's profiting, and it's just a nice little fun thing. So, the 1/6 kit. So if you are interested in making a purchase of the Wonka, you can get $10 off your purchase if it's your first purchase using code CW10. Again, that's CW10 on 16kit.com. Also, to note, to order the Wonka, you have to log in. I was doing research for the show today, and I couldn't find it on their website, and I was very frustrated. And it turns out you have to log in. So do that if you want to order it. And then Off the Racks Collectibles, $15 off your $100 purchase with code CW. That's on any purchase that you make over $100. If it's a pre-order, though, the $15 will be taken off the final invoice amount. So our main topic for today is do your homework. And Inart released a huge amount of information this week. I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I'm going to paraphrase a lot of this. But basically, they're continuing to advertise that they're making the highest quality premium 6-scale figures. They're scrutinizing every detail and making adjustments throughout the development process, which again, I feel like they're saying this, and then they're also telling us that things that we've pointed out that are inaccurate on other figures they can't do. So again, really muddy messaging there. But they did have some updates. So the Chinese Odyssey Part 2 Cinderella Zia Celestial, that's a new one that we haven't seen yet. The prototype is complete and the official pictures and videos have been shot, so we'll be seeing that soon. They're delaying the pre-order from the targeted date of April to a date in the near future. They also are apologizing for some of the delays that they're making, and some other figures that they've mentioned. So we've known that Harry Potter was coming for a while. They have apparently poured a lot of work into the development and breakthrough of the new version of the sculpts, accessories, and movie accurate clothing, and there are the final stages of adjustment for that. So in May we should see that. The Bruce Wayne and Batman figure, they're saying it's a very complex figure, but they are still working on that. And again, every piece of feedback and suggestion you give is valued at Inart. They're a growing team, and we hope to keep moving forward in the development and production of figures. For Gandalf, after the work was exhibited overseas at the end of 2022, we listened to the valuable suggestions of many collectors, and I've created a feedback document. We have been using these suggestions to optimize and adjust during the production stage. We will complete the final process and adjustments as soon as possible and announce the production progress pictures. For Pennywise, the clothing production is almost complete. The head sculpt, rooting, painting, and hair process is steadily advancing. They will finish, process, and share updates on the production as soon as possible. And for Aragorn, they have a lot of changes, which is kind of where Dean and Ben had some issues. So they are continuing to make this accurate. They're also doing different bonus scene accessories. And so the optimizations that they listed are the official self-supporting channel special accessories, the Black Cloak publish, which I don't understand what that means, the belt and belt buckle optimization, the boots optimization, the armor optimization, the sword strap optimization, the marching quilt and Black Cloak folded state and arrow bag, and bow pulling gesture and floor. I assume they mean the display stand optimization. So hopefully the display stand optimization means they made the magnets like 10 times bigger so that people don't have the issues with the Joker. And these are the photos that they shared. So These aren't bad. I just really wish they would shoot these just on a neutral background so we could get a really good look at it. But compared to some of the other things that they've shown us, this isn't terrible. I just wish that they were a little bit more contrast between the backdrop and the foreground. So Ben and Dean, you guys had some issues which you guys articulated great in the show sheet chat. So tell us, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it just seems very, I don't even know how to word it. It's like, what are you doing over there that you need the community to be doing all the research and development for you? It's like you already had to have them tell you how to fix Gandalf, then again with Aragorn, and then almost like seemingly saying like, well, like moving forward, like it's up to you guys now to do all the fucking, research into what makes these figures, accurate or not, which, I guess that's fine. Like, and because someone who gives a shit is going to give a shit more than somebody who's just, in it for the money. But like, dear God, it seems like every fucking release you're going to have to be taking feedback on this shit. Does that make sense?
It does, for sure. I feel divided on my thoughts here because on one hand, when I initially saw this, I was like, kind of what Dean just said, like another one that they need to optimize and not necessarily just get right the first time for collectors. We're paying a ton of money for these figures. So for us to have to vet it for them seems a little backwards. On the other hand, I also like that we're able to communicate some of our challenges. I thought it was a huge win with the Gandalf and the Moria staff that you guys were able to get that included. But it becomes such a slippery slope, I would think, for this company because they've now shown the community that they will listen, and now they're going to have to listen because if they start ignoring us on the next figure that they decide to release and they don't make any changes, or they say, oh, well, we heard you on that some stuff, but yeah, we're not going to worry about the rest. I feel like that's going to create an even bigger and bigger stir slowly over time. It's going to be like created resentment based on communication. But it feels like they've put themselves in this no-win scenario of, as I said, as a collector, I'm happy for other collectors that we are going to get the most accurate representation of the characters we love. But there are thousands and thousands of reference images available for the company to be able to get it right the first time. They said that they were going to be the most like premium 6-scale company out there, or that was what their goal was. And I think that they have the ability to do that, but part of a premium experience is giving me what you plan to give me, not necessarily what I ask for after the fact. Like, a luxury car brand shows you the car they're going to sell you. They're not like, what do you think we should add to make it more worth your $300,000? Like, it doesn't sit well with me in that perspective. And it makes me worried that it's going to extend these releases slowly over time, because instead of them delaying the figures, it can be easily put back on the community that, sorry, we're delaying our figures because we've had a lot of these optimization feedback. And so now you're going to get 1 or 2 figures a year, and that's kind of it. And in order to ever build out a line, maybe the people are excited about that. But personally, I'd rather them get it right the first time, sell the figure, get it in our hands, and move on to the next release. I'm still waiting on my Joker. I ordered that bad boy what feels like a really long time ago at this point. I can't even imagine when my Batman's going to come from them. So
Not for a while.
Yeah. And I mean, we haven't got a chance to even optimize that figure yet. So like, how much further down the road is that going to kick in? I don't know. I don't love it.
Well, I think they did adjust the cape, right? And they adgested the sculpt, or at least the lighting on the sculpt.
After people have to point it out.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zach, and then I'll say
it almost reminds me of what Marco always says, which it's funny, but it rings so true here, right? Like paralysis by analysis. Like with the Gandalf, there were like big issues. Like we're not talking like nitpicky things. Like, oh, the sword is now optimized with the strap. Like there were like huge issues, and we pointed those out, and they said they were going to fix them. Yeah. And then they showed us at Las Vegas, and then the I think it was Thailand the next weekend. and it had become way worse. It was like, what are y'all doing? Like, you may have fixed the staff, but the robe is now off. The beard is way shorter than what you solicited. The pants prints still aren't there. And so, you know, they make these statements like how they want to be so accurate, but then they're like, well, yeah, the costume may have had it, but if you can't see it on screen, then it's not something we're going to prioritize, right? But that's a weird slippery slope, right? The newest Hot Toys Return of the Jedi Darth Vader, it's not in the photos, but I'm 1,000% sure that the back of those boots will have the straps on them to hold up the shin armor. Not because you see it in the movie, but because the prop costume has it. The prop costume still exists for Gandalf. I even told them where it's being held, like the museum that owns the costume, or one of the costumes at least. I also sent them references of someone that physically handled the costume and gave detailed measurements about what these pants prints should be, the size, the pattern, and everything. They're like, well, you know, it's hard to see in the film, or you can't see in the movie, so it may not be something that makes it into the final product. You know, they've delayed a lot of this stuff for a long time. At this point, it's almost like, you know, your homework is to research this and to present it to us. Like, just the basic fact that they didn't submit 2 staffs on a character that, like, that's like one of 3 things he uses in the movie is like, I don't understand that, right?
Yeah.
And so
especially with the proto photos showing him in a very specific pose to the second staff.
Exactly. And it's like they keep saying, like, we're going to be accurate. We're going to live up to these expectations and attention to detail. We're going to make these figures and release them on time. And it's like, well, they're not accurate. They're not on time. Perhaps they're the most premium materials, but you're also cheaping out on non-premium thing like magnets. Magnets are not expensive. The fact that they cheaped out on the Inart, the magnetic base for the Joker, it shows that they're cutting corners, right? And so for me, I was, you know, real interested in what Inart was going to do, and it was certainly like a, hey, maybe the grass is greener on the other side type thing. But honestly, I've been incredibly disappointed as a company from them. The communication isn't what we were used to in the beginning. You know, sure, they come on like 1 or 2 people's channels, and they do provide good information, but it's certainly not that level that it was before. The updates are much, much more spaced out. The group community interaction is much, much less. And I know that they're saying that they're in a listening year this year, but they continue to make excuses for why they can't do things, right? These are the pants prints. This is how they should be. Oh, well, you don't see in the movie, and we're deep into production. Like, we don't know if they can be added. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think for the price that they're asking, you know, these are premium products. I feel like we're getting a lot of excuses. And then you have companies like Asmus, which I know isn't the best company, but they release a really, really strong Gandalf out of nowhere with no fan feedback and no solicitation, and it's good to go like the day after it's announced. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. You know, I think that they're probably over their head. They had teased a bunch of things. Even Vintage is saying, like, you know, the Neo that they teased that is just gone. You know, they had a sort of a projected roadmap that they wanted to do, and once they separated from Queen, they're like, well, we're just gonna do our own thing now.
It's just out of the window.
And it's
now,
just
apparently.
like, so all that fan feedback and fan voting and fan polls and we're listening to you to make what you want thing, that's all out the window now. It's just odd. I feel like it's gonna be a very long time before we see a Dark Knight trilogy Batman. Excuse me. I think it's gonna be a long time before we see that. And I think it's going to be an even longer time before their next release comes out. And to be honest, as a consumer, it doesn't give me a ton of confidence when you have companies like Mars Toys coming out swinging with super accurate, super quality, well-priced collectibles that don't require months of fan feedback and adjustments to be right. I think at some point, and doing what I do or what we do for the show, there comes to a point where you just have to release it, because you could spend days and weeks and months nitpicking small things. At some point you have to release it and move on to the next thing. And I think that that's where they're struggling. They're trying to make everything super, super perfect. and they're getting the workload is just piling up on them. It's like me with Merlin, right? It's piling up. It's never going to be finished.
You said something. I'll be really quick, Marco. You said something really definitive there, Zach. I think it's the communication, right? So somebody compared this to Jazz Inc. the other day for me on Let's Get Nuts on Sunday, and that was an eye opener because I know Jazz Inc. kind of advertises the fact that they're going to take a certain amount of community feedback for their vehicles. Yeah. And then they put that into practice, and then they do they kind of release a proto, and then they tweak it a little bit from there, and then they release their final version, and then that's usually what you get. But they kind of advertise that that's their process. They've made that pretty obvious. I think if Inart was smart, they would just say, hey, we said this was going to be a listening year, so these are the next 2 figures we intend to release. Send us some information on what you feel is most important if this is your favorite character. And you could have 6 months of people sending in information and photos and all of the things before you even start to work up your first pre-order. But because they're doing it backwards, it's like if collectors didn't say anything, would we have just then got the lackluster version for $500? Like, so then we have to say something, or we're going to overpay for these figures.
Should we have to do that? Like, can you imagine if Hot Toys came out and said, "Hey"?
I just think it could be a win for them, is what I'm saying. They could make it feel like it's then more within our control, but it's part of being like the exciting part of the process. Whereas doing it retrospectively, like after the fact, it makes it feel like we're then doing the homework for them. It's the same amount of homework. It's just that it's like shifting it to make it feel like we're more in control of that information. So when we finally do see the figure, it's hopefully what we're looking for from our favorite character. What were you going to say though, Marco?
Go ahead, Marco.
So Talkative Mime is saying, from what I hear, Mars Toys rips off the custom collector's sculpts. Oh, excuse me.
I don't think that that's accurate. At least from the, I know the prank villain. Some people had stated that, but a lot of people also said it was an original sculpt, so I don't know that they do that anymore. I think they are doing their sculpting in-house.
So we have been on Inart to control the message from the beginning, because it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back with this company, because they get so much right. So I'm still a believer in Inart. After having the Joker, like I said, the Rooted's on the way. I think the sculpted version by itself spoke for itself. It was a very, very nice figure for someone who hasn't been in the game for, 10 years, but, a handful of years at this point. It was one of the nicer figures that I've, ever put into the collection. So I'm excited to see what they do. But please, for the love of God, control the messaging. Putting out this post is just noise. We are past the point of all this text. Like, who are you marketing this to? It's just confusing. Like, I'm having to go in depth, and then things are not really translated well. It's easy though, because they've already done the proper things. So cut out the nonsense. And here, I'll give them this is free. So John, this is free. You put out that hype video when you were about to, release the Joker, or I think when you were about to put up the pre-order of the Joker. It had Viper in it. It was like really high production values. It showed the figure. It showed all the premium materials. Do that with everything you're working on. Say, hey, we are hard at work here. If the Harry Potter sculpt's not ready to show, don't show the sculpt. Just show us a little accessory. Show us a little tease of your artist kind of working on the figure to get us hyped and say, oh, wow, that looks really great. Show us what the Pennywise is looking like. Someone brushing the hair. Do a hype video and say, hey, cut in a bunch of collectors that already have the Joker in hand. Here's the response we received from our first release. Here's what we're working on right now, and then here's our roadmap for the future, and here's a few, improvements that we've made on Aragorn, for instance. I get that would cost money and, use resources, but you've already done it. So cut it out with all the confusing messaging. Do in multiple languages a hype video. Give us a clear path of what we're going to see here moving forward, and only release the images when they're really high quality looks at the figure. This is close. It's not as spot on to what they've done before, but it's not a huge downgrade. So I think this is passable, but come on, we need to stop with the silliness, because it's getting confusing. It's making people nervous. Hold our hands, reassure us that you are hard at work. Show us your artists hard at work, and then everything's going to be okay. So they've got the roadmap already, and they've done it before, but they're just not delivering consistently, which is concerning.
It almost goes to like with film, right? You want them to show us, not tell us. Right now they're telling us. I need them to show us.
Exactly right. Exactly right, Zach. Don't put it all into text. Just show us a little tease. Show us what you're ready to show us, and then hold back what you're not quite ready to show.
Yeah, because all of these posts are basically like you have words and you're just having an AI just like give you things that sound the same. Like we're doing our best, we're working hard, we're optimizing. Next, we're doing our best. It's just the same thing over and over. To clarify here, Trevor says Mars Toys has copied portraits in the past. I don't believe they do it currently moving forward, but I guess we'll see. Sean also says it's great. Inart needs to put out products. So far, we've gotten one item, the Joker, and I'm almost burnt out on this company. Too much talk and not enough action. Imperfect Collector says they knocked Joker out of the park. I'm happy to wait if it's anything like their first release. But that's the question, though, right? Like, how long are we waiting? If they took a year to release one figure, are we getting one release per year as these pre-orders continue to stack up?
But he's also an imperfect collector, so...
That is true. Below and Grana, hola, watching from Valencia, Spain. Do you guys speak Spanish, Italian, German, French, and play soccer? I think Marco has a few of those lined up. Let's see here.
Bro, look at me. I don't play any fucking sport.
I speak a little French.
I used to play football, but that was, fucking...
I know someone that speaks English, though. Weird collecting habits. Weird collecting habits. So this doesn't have to be related to... Also, shout out to you. Thank you for watching from Spain. That's really cool.
Very cool.
Weird collecting habits. So I do this really weird thing. I may be a serial killer, to be honest.
Zach, you have a few, so I'm going to see what you say and see if I can add to it.
Add to it if I leave them out. I'm only going to say one because I think it's the weirdest thing that I do. So Dean, please correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like this happened right when COVID started. I don't know why. Okay, Dean's shaking his head. So
I feel
now
worried.
I'm really...
Yeah,
I feel worried about
if
this
it's
answer.
that new, then you're not... Yeah.
Wait, is it the don't drive thing?
No, keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
I feel like I always have to have, and I got roasted at OxCon for this, I have to have a figure in the car with me at all times. And like sometimes there'll be like certain figures for certain cars, and I'll just leave them there forever. And
that is fucking weird.
Like if I'm going to work, I'll take a figure and like I don't even mess with it at work. It's just like in the car. And like my thing is like if I get stuck, I fucking hate being stuck in traffic.
It's like a stress
like
ball.
Stop
for you,
and
right?
go. Yeah, it's like a fidget thing. If I'm in traffic, and yeah, Cram, we're gonna do that as a separate video. So, because the guy that was supposed to help me with that, he's under the weather today. But we'll do that. It's happening. Yeah, so that's my weird thing that I do that I was planning to share today, but Dean apparently says there's more. So Dean, tell me more.
Yeah, so Zach also, no matter where we're at, if he buys a figure,
Yes.
if he buys a figure, it's immediately out of the box at the register. He's already opening with it.
Okay, there's a difference. There's a difference. Only for cheap figures. I wouldn't do that to a Hot Toys. But like at Stevens, I think this wasn't an OxCon.
It's like
but he
times.
had the B127, and I've been looking for months. And so like I'm not gonna wait to open this. Like, Steven, can I put this in your trash? Yep, boom, crack that bitch open at the register. And I was playing with it at the store. It was fun.
Yeah. Also, he'll get home immediately, start customizing it. Doesn't matter what it is. Hot Toy, Marvel Legend, fucking
true.
vintage. He's changing something on it. Whether it's like, oh, I'm gonna put like a real cape on this, or I'm gonna add a dry brushing to the paint, or whatever it is. He immediately starts messing with it. Like he can't just let things be.
I've gotten better with that lately, but yeah, for a while it was pretty bad. I remember when I got the I don't remember who I got it from, but I got the deluxe Mando. It was from Rainer. Literally, that figure was in my house for no less than a minute, and I was already fucking tearing out the fat suit, but then like 10 minutes it was done. Like a quick little, like a cleft palate surgery, just in and out. Dean, what is your weird collecting habits? Habits. You're on mute.
Tearing out the fat suit sounds.
I'm
like a
trying to
weird thing,
think.
Hatsune Miku? Just kidding.
The deeper the
How
cushion, the
dare
deeper the
you.
pushing.
The ramen cooking figures that you have a bunch of that
I
don't
only
quite
have
understand.
one. I
The
can't
new
even see it
figures.
on my thing. Weird collecting habits.
The anime girl body pillows.
Okay, that's
It's private. I'm
Personal.
sorry.
yeah. How dare you? No, I don't have any of those. I honestly don't think I have weird collecting habits. I used to buy like everything. And then eventually I was like, I'm just buying shit like I don't even want anymore. So I stopped doing that. I honestly like don't have weird collecting habits. like keeping toys with me in the car. I keep them on my
fucking
desk, like while we're on the show. I'm like messing around with my figures over here, but
I know we're trying to have a show, and you're sitting there like fucking fidgeting with
think
your
that
it
toys.
gets
Ben.
intense,
I
honestly.
think it was Ben breathing though.
I was muted.
Okay, there was a point in the
Thank you
show
very much.
where I was like, "Damn, someone's breathing really loud," and I was like, "Dean's on mute," and I went like this, and I'm like, "No, I could still hear it." I was like, "God damn it, Ben!"
Really? Oh
Yeah, it was at the beginning. You could see me going like this. I was
We
like,
have a private chat for a reason. Okay.
I know, but it was. I didn't want to like make
Mother
you
of God.
self-conscious.
I get a little excited
Yeah.
sometimes about Star Trek. Sorry, go on. Dean.
Yeah, no, I honestly am like having a hard time thinking of one. So let's
one of my
missing.
one of my weird things that I've been doing lately is I will buy Lego knowing that I have no time to build Lego, and I have like 6 sets that are like in the box still.
Yeah.
That like, and they're not even like big sets. Like I have a mock that's like 300 pieces of the N1. I have the Guardians Christmas set. Oh my goodness!
Something took a tumble.
Jeez.
Oh, I blame Kevin.
It's an earthquake that just happened.
What was that?
Are you okay?
I don't
What
know.
happened?
It just like fell off my computer.
Oh,
Is my house haunted?
Dude, you have like a poltergeist, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, what the hell? I'll be right back.
Check
Can someone
the tape
clip
on
that?
that later. Yeah.
Someone clip that. I want to watch it right now. That was wild. Okay, so I don't even know where we were at, but I have a bunch of Lego sets that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna build them, and I'm awful because this third-party Lego company just made a 1-to-1 scale replica of the UCS Razor Crest. It's like 7,000 pieces, and it was like $150. And Pete got it, and he's like, "Dude, it's fucking perfect." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy that." I don't know when I'm gonna build it. I have the Barcelona Stadium set like in the box right
You
here.
have that? Oh, I desperately
want it?
that.
I'll sell it to you.
Or I'll trade you for a Batmobile.
Well,
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
trade me for your Joker. Anyways,
There you
Ben, tell me, or Ben and Marco, tell me what you got.
Go for it, Ben.
Yeah, so when it comes to collecting, I usually bring a jar of like peanut butter down and set it beside
Jesus.
the desk here.
Oh my gosh.
It gets real crazy.
Your dogs?
No.
Cats have rough tongues.
It was a weird one. So I actually read this question the other day on the show she chat as what wired collecting habits do you have? So I started listing out all of the
Jesus.
like lighting setup that I have, and then I realized what the question really was. I think the only weird one that Shauna has called me out on specifically is whenever I will repose a figure in my collection, I'll go stand in different areas of the room just to see how it displays. And she thinks it's weird because she'll come downstairs and I'll just be randomly standing in like a different corner staring at the collection. But like when you walk through your room, you always kind of see it at the corner of your eye or if you look at it directly. And so if you go and sit down on the couch and you realize like the pose is a little wonky, you're going to want to get up and repose it again. So I just constantly plant myself all over the room to make sure. Bob Dylan says that's not weird. I feel like it's like a little weird, but maybe we all do that, and it's just
The weirdest
Shauna
thing
just
is the way
calls
you
me
say
out on
figure.
It.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Figure.
Oh my god.
Is everything okay,
How
dude?
is this just
Yeah.
coming up now? We've only been
Yeah.
Oh,
staying
it came
together
up when
for
we
a
first
year.
met you. We just haven't talked about it for a while.
Dean, who's behind you though?
Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
Look at this. Look at this replay, bro. I think you elbowed the desk, and then it was just like everything just... It's like fucking Indiana Jones avalanche, bro. Like, you elbowed the desk. Oh, I wish we didn't have our logo up. And you knocked over whatever that was at the corner, and then it just, like, dominoed everything down. The way that your interface tumbled.
He's like, whoa.
I'll take a picture of how my interface is on my computer. I don't know how it fell. I couldn't tell you.
That's wild.
Definitely haunted.
You may have a poltergeist. Marco, tell us your weird.
Yeah, so
collecting
I guess
habits.
it's similar to Ben, but if I
Peanut butter?
repose a figure, peanut butter on my, you know what? So if I repose a figure and it's not quite lifelike or it's not quite right, I know people give me shit for my poses because I'm limited, right? I don't do something like crazy dynamic because I don't use stands. But it's got to like look right, and I think from all angles as well. And if it's not quite right, it will bother the shit out of me. Like I cannot sit still. So I have this is in our TV room, and if the figure is just not quite posed correctly, I'll have to get up and keep messing with it until it finally gets in like a passable position, or else I cannot comfortably enjoy whatever I'm doing. So that definitely speaks to my OCD.
I feel like that sometimes. Like I'll be in the middle of something and Victoria's like, hey, let's go run to the store real quick. And I'm like, no, we can't leave. Because the whole time we're gone, I'm just going to be thinking about this one thing. Usually it's like with 3D printing, if I have a failure, like I have to clean the build plate off and then clean the FEP before I can start again. One, because it's a waste of time, right? Like if it's not printing, it's just a waste of time. And two, I just need to know and try to analyze why it failed on the software side of things so I can fix it and make it right. So
it's going to bug the shit out of you until you finally do that.
When I got to work, Victoria leaves usually a little bit later than me. She was like, hey, you had a print failure. And I was like, damn, all day I have to know that this print has failed. And I can't do anything about it until I get home. It was awful. It's absolutely awful. It's like a 7-hour print, too.
Yeah,
I do like to watch the movie. I do like to watch the movie or television show of every figure that I get, but I don't think that that's necessarily weird. I feel like that's just kind of amping myself up. I also usually won't unbox a figure until I've gone outside and smoked one. I just like want to get in the zone and just get like right into it. So, but yeah, Canadian habits.
Do you get more in the zone from the weed?
Oh, Garen, yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
Wow.
As you're like right in. I'm all about it. I get my light box.
You can appreciate
the
sculpt so much better when you're under the influence. Like you just see every little fine detail.
I need to smoke with y'all. You guys got that good stuff.
You're not wrong.
Okay, so the hot seat for today, Ben, I'm choosing you first. All right. Now here's what you're going to do. You're going to name one Star Wars character. Then Marco's going to name a Star Wars character. Then Dean's going to name a Star Wars character. And we're going to do that 3 times. If your character, so you won't get any points today. If your character gets announced during the week of May the 4th, so tonight to next Tuesday, you will get 1 point for each figure that you nominate. And I don't want you guys to pick the same figures. Okay?
For Hot Toys?
Hot Toys, yes. So let me write Ben, Marco, Dean. So, Ben, your first choice that you think we will see for May the 4th week.
Return of the Jedi, R2-D2.
All right, Marco?
I'm going to go with the Emperor. Let's go with Palpatine.
All right, Dean?
I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis. Marco? Ooh. Or, sorry, Ben?
Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, that would be fucking sick. Marco?
Let's go with Han. I think we're going to see another Han.
There we go. Dean?
Lando?
Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. Either in the Han Solo outfit or his general outfit.
Okay. Ben?
Upgraded Ewok.
Okay.
Wicket?
No, just general Ewok.
Just a general
okay,
Ewok.
Marco?
Let's go with Bib Fortuna.
There you go, Bib Fortuna.
Not the chubby version, but that's the version I want.
A new Return of the Jedi Boba Fett.
There you go. I like these. Now, as the outside observer, I think of these, I think the most likely that we'll see is Boba Fett, because the original Hot Toys one came out super long ago. The Emperor, because the current one is stupid expensive. Jabba, because Sideshow's made one, but that was a while ago. And I feel like Hot Toys, now that they've shown us the willingness to do a large power pose type figure, that is like the perfect example of what they can do with that. And Cal Kestis. I think, to me, it's a no-brainer.
And we got Salacious Crumb.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's actually really true. I think the all-time grail that I know we're not going to see, but can you imagine if Hot Toys made a Slave Leia?
Be nice.
That would be wild.
What is the name of
fat load, dude?
Leia in the bounty hunter outfit?
Bosch.
There you go. I never know how to pronounce it. I feel like that is much more likely, though, right? That one I would love to see.
There you go. The chat says Binks, Cal and Han, Slave Leia, Mech Strike, Ewok, Luke from the Vader duel. Joker J says so many rules. We have fun with the rules. It's fun. All great
Are we
choices,
still going,
boys.
or are we done with the?
No, that's it. I'm gonna keep those
Okay.
in mind for next week.
Can I put a few honorable mentions out there?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I think Mon Mothma would be sick, and Admiral Akbar. Let's
There we go.
I also think we can see a Moff DeLorean.
There you go.
Or Grand Moff DeLorean.
There we go. Maybe a Tarkin reissue for Rogue One. Maybe an Andor. That would be nice. Or the what's that guy's name from Andor? The Luthen. That would be pretty cool too.
Oh, nice.
Let's go a bit here. May the 4th is this week. I had a chance. I don't know if any of you guys took advantage of it, but I think it's still going on for the next few days. But Return of the Jedi was in theaters, and that was an experience. I have not seen Return of the Jedi on the big screen. There were things that... So I don't watch at home. I don't watch the... what do you call them, Dean? Like the edited versions? Like the current special editions, I guess. I have the Harmy set on Blu-ray because I'm a distinguished gentleman. And so that's how I watch the original trilogy. And so I actually haven't seen Return of the Jedi in its current state probably since like 2006. It's been a long time. And so I did not like certain parts. I think the Jabba's throne, like Jedi rock song was so awful. Taking out Yub Nub is terrible. Leia's coke nails look massive on the big screen. With that being said, though, damn, that movie fucking slaps on the big screen. The speeder chase was fucking awesome. Now, unfortunately, we had to sit really close to the front. It actually wasn't a bad viewing angle because the theater has those seats that recline really far back. Wow, Bob Dylan. But I had a blast, and it was my first time taking Vivi to see a Star Wars movie in a theater. It was a memory I will never forget. It was also like a bunch of shit that I had to deal with to even get to the movie. We show up to the showtime, and on the website it just says, like, you know, we have a showing at 3:40, 3:45, so we go for the 3:45 one. And it's all VIP seating, and nowhere on their website did it mention it was an 18 and up showing, so we had to wait till 6:45, almost like 3 hours later. It's terrible. But we had fun. It was an unforgettable movie experience, and I will say there were parts of this movie where the crowd went fucking wild, and the most unexpected of them was Anakin showing up at the end as a Force ghost. Thunderous applause. Thunderous applause is fucking fantastic. Also applause at the beginning and the end of the film. Love to see that. But it was a great way to kind of celebrate May the 4th week, and I'm curious what you guys are doing this week to celebrate the occasion. All right, let's move on to Mortal Kombat. Jesus Christ.
I'm waiting for figure releases. Put my wallet in the freezer just in case.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds cool, but I'm not kidding you. The thought of sitting through that Jabba the Hutt song is so obnoxious to me that you like talked me out of seeing the movie in theaters. Because I specifically got the original theatric release DVDs, which are like super rare, just to avoid all the bullshit they've added to the movies over the years. And then you got me the Harmy specialized versions on Blu-ray, which is all I watch now. So like, yeah, it's like, no, I'm not going to go pay money to see a subpar version of the movie.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know that I have any particular plans. I would like to play Jedi Fallen Order again. That just, in so many ways, captured a lot of what I love of Star Wars. So I'm not quite ready to purchase Survivor. I think I'm going to let a few of the bugs get worked through. But yeah, I think that might be how I celebrate. And maybe sneak in a viewing of Return of the Jedi. Probably at home, though. I think I'm okay at home. But how about you, Ben?
Kind of in the same boat. I like the theater is an expensive experience at this point. Well, I think it is a very cool opportunity experience if you've always wanted to see it in theaters. I liked Return the least of the original trilogy, so it wouldn't be something I'd go out to necessarily watch. But I think reposing some Star Wars figures at home while watching the trilogy, or honestly the whole series through, right? Like if you started with episode 1, like it's still a pretty cool and fun ride to check out. So I've been meaning to revisit all the the films, the prequels, and done the original trilogy at least. So maybe I'll start that again. So, but other than that, no, I don't have much in the way of actual plans for it.
There you go. I will say though, as someone that was experienced Return of the Jedi with my daughter for the first time, because she doesn't sit through these movies very well, at least yet. And like putting my mindset into like someone that's never seen Return of the Jedi and that's watching these films for the first time, imagine like ending with Empire and like the whole fucking Return of the Jedi, Vader's like in it for like 10 minutes. Like, it's got to be pretty frustrating. And my kid kept saying like, "Where's Darth Vader? Like, where's he at?" And I was like, damn, like there's like a lot of shit that is completely unrelated to all this like huge information that was dropped in Empire. Mm-hmm. I will say though, I do enjoy this movie, and my kid loved the Ewoks. She thought they were adorable. So I guess that is, it is what it is. Let me pull this up real quick because I'm realizing I left something off the show sheet. So our movie of the week was Mortal Kombat, the 2021 release.
Not 2001.
Hunted... Oh, we're doing Annihilation, huh?
No.
I was like, okay.
On the last show, I said 2001 accidentally,
yeah.
Trying to say
no,
2021.
You're good. Blackbird says, I saw Jedi at a theater when it came out in the 83, but did go on Sunday to watch the 40th. It was fun and happy to see the fans see it on the big screen, even if it was the special edition. Vintage says there's something special about the viewing environment of the theater. I prefer the original versions too, but it's ultimately 2 minutes of an amazing film, and the picture quality of this version. I will say, though, there were some scenes that upscaled really poorly, mostly on Endor. Tiger Fett says none of the original movies are bad. Jedi was less great than the other two, but still great. So, hunted by the fearsome warrior Sub-Zero, MMA fighter Cole Young finds sanctuary at the Temple of Lord Raiden. Training with the experienced fighters Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and the rogue mercenary Kano, Cole prepares to stand with Earth's greatest champions to take on the enemies from the Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. I thought this movie was really good. I don't know that it gets the praise that it deserves, but in a lot of ways, I think this is a much better film than the original two Mortal Kombat live-action films from the 90s.
How dare you?
And as someone... No, those are good, don't get me wrong. But as someone whose favorite character is Sub-Zero, I felt like he got a bad rap in both of those films. I never felt like he was as cool in those films, outside of the costume, as he did in this film. In this film, he felt powerful. When he's taking on the SWAT guys and he just fucking mops the floor with them, you're like, damn, this is a bad motherfucker. I think this movie does him justice, and I like this movie. Baraka, I guess who Cole Young becomes, isn't my favorite character from Mortal Kombat, so that big reveal probably didn't hit as hard for me as probably other people. But yeah, seeing all these revamped versions of the character, it was fantastic. I mean, when Jax gets his arms taken off, I mean, fucking brutal scene.
They did that perfectly.
Yeah, it's, to me, I think that this movie, because remind me, Marco, when this movie came out, it was like a straight to HBO, and then I think you could see it in the theater, but like because of COVID, no one did. It was very limited, I feel like this movie probably would have been better received in a theater setting where you have to fully focus on the movie. And I think it's a shame because I do think it's a good movie. Looking at the scores here, they're not particularly great, but I'm curious what you guys thought of this. This is a good movie. I like it, and I hope that they can continue this franchise going forward. But I think being shafted by COVID certainly doesn't help a movie like this going forward.
Yeah, I feel like they were kind of banking on the fact that they were going to get more than one movie. So they kind of tried to cram as much shit in as possible, which I feel was kind of more of a detriment to the movie as a whole. Because when you have like characters like Goro and you essentially get rid of them in a scene, it's like, that feels kind of lame. I would have preferred if it stuck to one like main bad guy fucking with them throughout the whole movie and then like leading up to that. But Mortal Kombat's got a lot of characters and they wanted to, capitalize on that as much as possible. So they shoved everyone in it, and there's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different like main fights that it's like kind of exhausting. That being said, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's probably not even the worst Mortal Kombat movie I've ever seen. It's pretty good. It's definitely watchable. I don't think I particularly like. If I never saw it again, I'd probably be okay as well. That being said, I think Kano was the best part of this movie. I think
he was great comic relief.
Dude, amazing comic relief. Smart ass, kind of likable, but also kind of a dickhead. But yeah, I think Zach is 100% right. Making Sub-Zero like actually like powerful was cool. Because in the other movies, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, those guys are here. It's like they're almost like the fucking draw of the franchise, you know? So
they were like the like idiot henchmen, like, oh yeah, those guys they hate each other, but they're also like zombies. And he like dies in one scene. It's like, motherfucker, what? And then the second movie, they try to make his brother cool, which that was a pretty badass scene, but not super great.
Yeah, so it is cool seeing Scorpion and Sub-Zero like in more of a. I would have just preferred the movie if it was just about them two, honestly. But you shoved a bunch of other characters in there to set up another movie, which, you know, looks like it's never going to happen.
No, I think it is going to happen, Dean. I think we've got news that it's moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I Googled it while you were talking, Dean. On April 17th of this year, they confirmed that filming would run from June to September of this year, and that Shao Kahn, Baraka, Katana, Quan Chi, and Sindel were slated to appear. So
Shang-Chi's in this too? God damn.
Did I say Shang-Chi? I said Shao Kahn, I think.
Greatest crossover.
Wait, did I say Shang-Chi for real?
That sounds like it.
Words are coming out of my mouth. I don't know what I'm saying. Apparently, it's 4 films that they're doing at the moment.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I honestly didn't think it did well enough to warrant a sequel. I mean, it's been fucking 3 years. I haven't heard anything. So, okay, I guess we all are going to see more. So maybe it'll be better in the long term.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was a really solid foundation. Is it a good film? Not necessarily, but it's fun. Like, it reminded me a lot of the 90s film. Of the good one, right? Because they made 2 or 3, I don't even recall. But like the original one,
I think it was just 2.
Okay, there you go.
The original, yeah.
There you go. So the original one's not a good film either, but it's just fun. Like if you enjoyed the games growing up, then it gave you a lot to love. And I felt that same way about this. Like you said, they made Sub-Zero. They kind of made him like Terminator. He's kind of relentless, chasing the protagonist. So love that fact about it. Loved Scorpion's story and kind of how he comes back. Really, really well done, honestly. There was enough little Easter eggs and like little cheesy little audio lines that gave service to the games. And I thought like, oh, this is what I would have wanted out of a Mortal Kombat film. If you recall, they kind of had this weird, like it was a short that was leaked online or deliberately put online, maybe in the mid 2000s. And so it was like a gritty retelling of Mortal Kombat and kind of teasing what could have been. That became a web series. And I watched all those, and those never quite hit the mark. Like, I liked what it was trying to do. But this was the perfect balance of they tried to make it a bit gritty and real, but also like pretty outlandish and silly because, you know, the lore is pretty silly. So honestly, the second time seeing this, I would probably watch it a third time. Like, is it perfect? Not by any chance, but for someone who enjoys Mortal Kombat and these characters, I'm excited to see more from this universe. So I think this was about as nice of a debut as they could have possibly done with really silly source material. So how about you, Ben? What'd you think?
So I saw this a couple of years ago when it first came out. And then, to be honest, I forgot the entire storyline of the film. Entirely. Like, it did not stick with me at all. I found that it wasn't very memorable. And on the second viewing yesterday when I watched it again, while I agree with you, it was a fun watch. It was, you know, like, it had Mortal Kombat characters. I was always a huge Mortal Kombat guy. As a kid, I played the heck out of it on the original Sega Genesis. I just loved that game 1 and 2. This, to me, does not have the same level of nostalgia for the Mortal Kombat franchise as I would want. It feels like it is a very new representation of the film, and they're trying to kind of reinvigorate it and bring it back to life. But after I watched this, I went back and watched the original 90s film just to see if it held up in my mind, because it had been a couple of years since I watched that last. And it did not disappoint. As cheesy and corny as it was the soundtrack in that film bangs. Like, the fight scenes are awesome. I love all of the actors. I love the characters. It is definitely cheesy at times, like, no question. But like, that whole movie is really, really fun to watch. And I did like that they made Sub-Zero more of a badass. I think that's a good call out, Zach. On the other hand, Sub-Zero in the first scene of that original film freezes a guy midair and he smashes into a billion bits on the table in front of everybody, and that's right before the combat even starts. So it's like, whoa, that's crazy. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay off well because Liu Kang does kill him in pretty much the next scene that he shows up in. But I thought Scorpion and Sub-Zero, like, I liked the costuming of the originals. I didn't love the costume necessarily of this new version of Scorpion. I thought it was cool, but it didn't have that same, I don't know, nostalgic flair that I feel like the original.
Have you played more
has.
games than the first 3, Ben? Or
I've played Mortal Kombat 10 and 11, I think, is the most recent.
Okay, so you
one,
know
right?
where the costuming is coming from, more inspired by those
Definitely.
games in the original, right?
Definitely. And I think that's the problem for me, is that I don't have enough time to put into those games for them to become nostalgic like those originals used to be for me. And as I said, Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 on the video game series, plus then that original film packs the best punch. So I would say, like, if you've never seen this before and you like the Mortal Kombat franchise, yeah, like, it's definitely a fun watch. It's not a bad movie by any stretch, but it just kind of made me want to watch the original, and I had more fun ultimately doing that. That was the ride that you took me down this week, Marco.
Nice.
Thank you.
And I rep the original one as well. I think both of them are fine, not good, but fun films.
Yeah,
Totally.
Ben, your pick is up. So what would you like us to watch for our blockbuster movie of the week?
I would really like to start getting excited about the new Fast and the Furious movie. I haven't seen the last 4 of them, I believe.
Okay.
So my pick is either Fast and the Furious, the first film, so I can rewatch that again, because it has been at least 15 years since I've seen it, and or Superman the movie, because I just got that figure and I only got the movie started and I had to turn it off and haven't been able to get back to it. So if you guys have a pick between those two, maybe the chat can help, but they are both pretty fun. Because you guys don't like horror movies necessarily, right?
I'll watch whatever, man. It's your
I'll
choice.
rock with horror.
You pick the movie. You tell
pick
me
a
what
horror
you want me to
film
watch.
and let's do it.
Because I've also wanted to watch. I've also wanted to watch Black Phone, which is on Craven HBO, I think. So I don't know if you guys have that.
Black Phone? Is that
Black
is that
Phone?
the title
It's got
of the movie,
Ethan
or just
Hawke
making
in
that
it. No, yeah, it's called Black Phone.
That was a hilarious joke. Not even a giggle. I hate you guys.
I didn't even hear what you
my
said,
head.
Zach.
It literally went
He
over.
said Black Phone. I was like, is that actually the name of the movie? Yeah, if it's on HBO,
That phone is very black.
Jesus.
Very, very.
Vintage Rebellion says Superman crushes family. I could see that.
I don't know if I can stream Black Phone, but we'll figure it out. Put up a post on Saturday. Let us know what you want to watch.
Okay, we'll post.
Dean, can we give a shout out to the wonderful Patreonies to keep the network afloat?
Yes, the beautiful 3 pillars of angels. Give a quick shout out to Ian CB, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louie, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Val, Serena Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Guns Figs, Billy Badfish, Toy Cartel, Sweet Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krett, Big Ol' Fern, Caesar Marquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Victor Gregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alad Morgan, Tukothri, Wad, Derek B, Arias Portillo, Mark Randolph, Alvin J. Oh, I can't see the names over here. Jazz Carroll, thank you. Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Mathon, Jimmy James, Stephen Purchase, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. What a bunch of angels. Thank you for removing that logo, Zach.
Did the horn go off or no?
Yeah, it went off.
Yeah, I went
What
off.
the hell? I didn't hear it on my. Let me do it again. Hang on. Let me do this one. No, what the hell? I can't hear that at all.
Really?
Is that not working?
Yeah. He said not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you using a
Wow.
brown
Yeah,
phone?
no. Oh,
I don't. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, those
I'm
never work.
concerned that these buttons don't work.
Actually,
Wow.
I thought of a movie that I'd rather watch more if you guys can stream it.
Yeah,
Is
sure. What is it?
Dodgeball. I've been wanting to rewatch Dodgeball for a long time.
Yes.
And I heard that
find
they
a
might
way.
be coming out with a second
sequel.
one,
I saw the
so-
news today. Yeah.
So
Okay, hang on,
Dodgeball is
I'm gonna
my pick, I think, if you can find it.
I'm gonna press a button real quick. Just ignore it.
Fuck it though, bro. It's your life.
Wow, it's not working for me. That's weird.
We saw that one too. That
It,
was
it
a weird
wouldn't even
one,
play
though.
at all. Oh, it's a
creepy
little
little child.
bald-headed kid. Our May and June Patreon benefits are the Question of the Week sticker and the Spooderverse sticker sheet. My apologies. I should be getting out the last round sticker. I'm just a few days late, so I'll be getting that out this week. But yeah, very excited to get those in everyone's hands. Patreon starts at $5 for the hot seat. You get stickers, or excuse me, you get the digital benefits and access to Ox After Dark replay, Patreon chat, and the weekly shout out. The $7.50 Sweet Angel tier, you get access to the stickers, you get access to the replay and all the other cool benefits. The $15 Certified Crispy tier, you get the Certified Crispy certificate and Figure Fix assistance. And the $25 tier, you get doubles of all the stickers we send and the exclusive Pog Deluxe set on your first pledge, as well as all the other benefits. Patreon. Wow, this is all messed up. What the hell? YouTube channel members. We have some great members that support us. We have Mojo Z78, Absolute Irwin, LV Avenger 702, OMFG Rick, S Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Sam Giss, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hansen, Chris V, Big Ol' Fern, Cram, Alvin J, OG Fan, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Mendez, B-Chan, Fat Batman, Justin Sports Cards Museum, Philip the Fool, Kiki Spinkter, Universal Key, Eclectic Collector, Ducatri, Single Songwriter, Jake, Zeke, Equan, The Everyday Collector, DJ, Toy Cartel, KJ Smith, Adrian Aguirre, Knight, Slifer, Baby Boy 562, Steph V, Mike Oxlong, Just Another Friday Night, Noble Young, 16 Figure Focus, Blue Beetle, and Gotham Cenobites. Taking a look at the network, a little bit of changes here. We have live unboxing on Monday, After Dark tomorrow, 10:30. You're watching Collecting Weekly now. We got Club on Friday. The reissue is coming back on Sunday. We're doing a double feature with Ben's show and the reissue. Double nut. Ox PD, Question of the Week on Sundays. Live and Let Dice returns May 13th. Bricks and Brew, OFAC on Thursdays, alternating with Small Talk. So lots of great content for you guys there. If you want to buy a shirt, you can check us out at TeePublic. Wait for them to go on sale. And our friends of the show, we got John the Everyday Collector with his YouTube channel, 16 Fix with theirs, and the Ben Thomas Show as well. I need to fix this member Slack. It's going to drive me crazy all week. But yeah, any shout outs that you guys want to give?
For sure. I wanted to say thanks to the guys I had on the stream on Sunday. We had a really fun show over on the Ben Thomas Show for the Let's Get Nuts stream that aired. So if you guys missed the show, it was a really fun show. We had 16 Figure Focus on, as well as kind of a special guest, and then Pete from OFAC, and Dean, that I didn't realize was going to come until the very last second, which is definitely not something she just
That's how
said.
Dean normally comes.
But he surprised us.
Wow.
And arrived on time, and I really appreciated him for it. So yeah, if you guys missed the show, really fun. Let's Get Nuts on the Ben Thomas Show. And then, as Zach already alluded to, this week we will have a double feature, the Double Nut. We're going to start, I think, with reissue and then move into Let's Get Nuts from there. Have a good time. So don't miss it.
Hell yeah. Erwin says, great show tonight. 4 guys holding down the fort. Salute to you, 2023/CW3K. Yeah, right around the corner there for 3K. Big shout out to Abraham. We're having, I think, lunch with him on Sunday, so that should be fun. And yeah, excited for After Dark.
Mother's
Do you guys
Day?
have my... Oh, is it really?
Not this weekend, the weekend after.
Yeah. The
Oh, okay, good.
But that's a
but
good
yeah, big
reminder. Everyone go buy your mother a gift.
A
If
Hot
you haven't
Toys.
already, get out there and go get her a Hot Toys or 1/12, whatever she likes.
There you go. Yeah. Anyone else have any shout outs they want to give? Big Rib says, awesome stream. Big Rib, you were awesome. Thanks, bud. Joker J, Vintage Rebellion, great show as always. Have a good night, dude. See you one of these Thursdays.
Yeah, definitely thanks to everybody that's watching. I know there's always a lot of content that's available right now. There's a lot of people that are doing streams, and it does take up time to try and catch up with everybody. We appreciate you guys being here. Definitely gets us excited when we see y'all in the chat. So
Hell yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah. Shout out to all the pair. Shout
Shout
out to
out
the
to all the pair.
mans one more time. They got our care package, so very cool.
Oh yeah, shout out to the mans. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for those that were here tonight and for those that shop at Zach's Wonderland. excited to show you guys some cool stuff next week that I'll be printing. But anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.